The ball is on the 25, and it is 1st and 10. Welcome back to the show. I'm your co-host, Cade. That is your co-host, Metro. And guys, the NFL draft has finally finished. Actually, we got about like 1 or 2 picks left, but we're so excited. We're ready to talk about these guys right now. The winners, the losers, the trades, the slides, as we know. It's been a crazy past couple days. We're going through every single team and giving them a grade, Metro's grade, and my grade. But before we do that, Metro, how are you doing today?
It has been a busy but fun past couple days. Lots of players like we're going to get into falling, rising, some surprises. It's going to be a fun video. We're going to go through every single team like you mentioned, give them a grade, and yeah, let's go and hop right into it.
Let's do it. Let's start with the Cardinals because we're going in alphabetical order. I think Cardinals fans got to love that too. They're always starting in the beginning.
I know.
Okay. I'll read off the picks, okay, and then we'll just talk from there. Does that sound good? Open discussion.
Great. Sounds great.
Cool. 1 in the first round, we got Walter Nolan, the D tackle. 2, Will Johnson, the cornerback, who slid into the second round. 3rd round, we take Jordan Burch, the edge. And then 4th round, we have Cody Simon, the linebacker. 5th round, we got Denzel Burke, the cornerback. 6th round, we got Hayden Conner, the offensive guard. And then 7th round, we have Keaton Crawford, the safety. Now, Metro, I'm going to open the floor to you, man. Go crazy.
This was one of the better drafts. I didn't love their 6th or 7th round picks. No disrespect to Connor or Keaton Crawford, but man, I mean, if Will Johnson's healthy, dude, he might just be like the best corner in this class, and you got him in the 2nd round. I mean, just insane value. And then Jordan Burch, just a nice value pick in round 3. Walter Nolan was one of those picks that it would have gotten a really good grade for me. I mean, everything they've done in this class, I feel like they just did a really solid job. This is a Cardinals team that had a couple holes heading into the draft, like interior defensive line, some corners, but, man, they really addressed their major issues, and this is, without a doubt, one of the best classes that I've seen in this year's draft.
Totally. I mean, this class, when you kick it off with Walter Nolan and Will Johnson, that's hard to beat it. I do agree with you. Down the board, I'm cool with it. You know, it does nothing pops. It doesn't push it to an A for me. But it's just a very confident B+ in my opinion. Just the 2 value. You could get 2 home run hitter starters at Will Johnson and Walter Nolan. The upside's just through the roof.
I was also leaning B+. Just Hayden Conner to me, late 7th, undrafted free agent. You probably could have got him there. There's just better players on the board still there. Denzel Burke. I mean, the thought of Denzel Burke is nice. The player itself is a bit questionable, but there's a lot of talent there. And then Keaton Crawford, I also think, was a UDFA. So just in general, I love what they did in the first half. Second half, you know, maybe wasn't as strong, but, I mean, we're talking 5th, 6th, 7th round guys, so it's not like a huge deal. But it doesn't get much better than Walter Nolan, Will Johnson, and then Jordan Burch. So I'm also with you. I give it a B+ as well.
Awesome. Like, guys, you got to imagine, today they're all stars, and they're all home run hits, right? In reality, 30% of these picks work out, and that's being generous. If you get 2 home run starters, that is a W of a draft. So cool B+ we have right here for the Arizona Cardinals. You ready to go to Atlanta?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
This is going to be a fun conversation because,
man. Okay, so Atlanta, 1st round, they get Jalen Walker. Then in the 1st round, they trade back up to 26 and get James Pierce Jr., the edge rusher. At 3 in the 3rd round, they have Xavier Watson. They trade back up, it looks like, to get him too, the safety.
Yeah, I believe they did, which was probably worth the while because he's a great player.
Fantastic player. I think y'all are sensing a theme here. And then in the 4th round, we have Billy Bowman Jr., another safety from Oklahoma in the 4th round. And then in the 7th round, we have Jack Nelson to cap it all off. I'll let you open up next time, so I'll just start here with the Falcons. When you pick up 2 premier rushers like Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr., that just turns your whole defense around. So that alone, I'm giving this a great grade. And then you're able to get Xavier Watts in the back of the 3rd. I don't care if people think he's small, slow, whatever the case is. The dude's a football player, an elite football player. That's like, I don't know. They killed the draft. They transformed that defense to something really special. I gave this an A-, but of course want to hear your thoughts. Billy Bowman, cool to tack it on. I don't mean this in a mean way, but I just don't care because they have Xavier Watts. Like, I think it's a great pick. But the first 3 picks, undeniably, I give it an A-. I thought it was fantastic.
Bowman's a bit of an undersized guy, going to struggle to tackle, but man, he's got some good coverage skills, and he's just a baller. Like, regardless of size, I think it's a good pick in round 4. Jack Nelson is a 7th round tackle, might make the team, might be a rotational guy. We'll see. Jalen Walker pick, I think, is fantastic. I mean, he fell to your lap at 15. He kind of addresses 2 needs with this roster. in terms of they need an edge rusher. They also need some linebacker help. The James Pierce Jr. one, now, Cade's a lot higher on him than I am. I think, you had him in your top 10, top 15 in your big board?
9, dude.
Yeah, I have him outside of, I think, my top 20 or so. So I'm not as high on James Pierce Jr. I don't hate where they took him at 26. For me, I struggle with the idea of trading up for him and giving up a first-round pick from last year. That's the one thing that just kind of irks me about this one. But, man, it's hard to get past Xavier Watts and Billy Bowman, just two really good safeties. And even though I don't know if Bowman will ever be a full-time starter, I feel really confident that Xavier Watts will be just a ball-hawking safety. Struggles to tackle, but, man, he's well-sized, can move quite nicely. So, in general, you gave it, an A-? I'm going to give this one, I give it a B- just because, man, you gave up that first-round pick for next year. But, dude, it's going to be really tough for offensive linemen to cover the speed of Jalen Walker and the speed of James Pierce Jr. You just don't find speed too often that is like that on the defensive line. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but they need a lot of work in terms of development. So I give it a B- on my side.
Good stuff. To fully report, that's B- for Metro and an A- from myself. Baltimore Ravens. You ready to move on?
Let's move on.
Let's do it. Baltimore Ravens, a lot of picks here, so hold on tight. First round, we got Malachi Starks, the safety. Second round, we got Mike Green, the edge rusher. Third round, we got Emory Jones Jr., the O-tackle. Fourth round, I don't know, Bouchan. Am I saying that correct?
Yeah, just go with it.
Teddy Bouchan, the California linebacker. Try my best, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Fifth round, we got Carson Vinson, the O-tackle. Sixth round, we got Bahal Cone, the cornerback. Sixth round, Tyler Loop, the place kicker. Hell yeah. Sixth round, we got LeJonte Wester, the wide receiver. Peebles, that's the correct way to say it, right?
Mm-hmm. Aeneas Peebles, yes.
Aeneas Peebles, there we go in the sixth round. Steal of a D tackle right there. And then we got Robert Longbeam, the cornerback, in the sixth round. Metro, you have to last time. Go on ahead.
Yeah, and they have one extra pick that they haven't taken quite yet. That's coming up here in a few minutes, so we'll see if we get to them, but probably a special teams guy regardless. I think they killed it. I think they truly killed it. Getting Malachi Starks at 27, we've talked about this the entire offseason. I think teams sometimes care too much about positional value. Sometimes you just get a guy in a position like running back or safety or linebacker who's just going to be a Pro Bowl or all-pro guy, and that's exactly what Malachi Starks is. Getting what I think can be a Pro Bowl safety at 27 is just great value. And then Mike Green is kind of a wild card. If things legally clear up, then this is probably a top 10 pick. But we don't know. I mean, he could maybe never play a snap in the NFL, so that's kind of the big risk you're taking here. But I do think it's a good risk to take, assuming that the legal stuff does pan out, because he's just a really awesome player who, man, if there are any character issues, you put him with Kyle Van Noy, you should settle that out. I thought the Emory Jones pick was a little bit of a reach at third round. I would have maybe took him maybe fifth or fourth, but I can see the value. He had a really good year in 2023. Last year kind of took a step back. I see him more as a guard than a tackle. And then just down the board in the sixth round, they had 5 picks. And, Bilal Cone, Tyler Loop, the kicker. We'll see if he replaces Justin Tucker. LeJonte Wester, a lot of people know about him from Colorado. Aeneas Peebles, more of a pass-rushing interior defensive line, undersized, but has some good tape. And then Robert Longerbeam, probably a special teams guy. So, in general, I think I'll give this one, man, I want to give it an A+ just because of Mike Green, but because I don't know what's going to go down with Mike Green, I'm going to give it I'll give it a B+ just because if Mike Green is there and good, A+. But if he's not, it ruins the draft. So I'll give it a B+ to kind of stay a little safe here.
Totally. I'm going to be risky, and I'm going to go A+. I just think
Fair.
Mike Green was, all the stuff aside, I mean, it's real. It's definitely real. Teams passed on him for a reason. He doesn't go 27 overall in the second round just because it's a rumor. This is real shit. Now, if it's all good, like you said, that is the biggest steal of the draft, in my opinion. Mike Green is a fantastic pass rusher, and, man, they're just going to be so damn good. And then Malachi Starks, I just passed him over like he's no big deal. Malachi Starks is electric. To get him at 27 is a huge deal. Emory Jones, higher than you like, I get it. And then just solid depth across the board. And as we know, it also, I try to keep bias aside. With Baltimore, I know, maybe I don't know a couple of these guys' names. I know they've done the research. I know it's going to hit. I'm giving this an A+. I'm confident in Baltimore. They have one of the best draft classes consistently, and based off those first 2 picks alone, I think they knocked it out the park. If they got Mike Green at 27, I'm feeling really good about it. The fact that they got him in the second and Malachi, I mean, thrilled. They didn't have to give anything up, did they? Because they didn't trade back up. It just showed up at their door.
No, they just showed up on draft night, put their suits on, took best player available, and felt really good about it. So, yeah,
That's
good for
right.
them. They did a good job. So, what'd you
Hell
give it?
yeah.
A+?
A+ here, B+ from you?
Nope. Yeah, B+ for me. I have no issue with A+, though. Again, if Mike Green was clear, it'd be an A+ for me. So,
Awesome. Good stuff. Let's head to the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, let's talk about them. First round, we have Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback. Second round, TJ Sanders, the D tackle. Third round, Landon Jackson, the edge rusher. Fourth round, Deion Walker, the D tackle. Fifth round, Jordan Hancock, the cornerback. Fifth round, we have Jackson Hawes, the tight end. Sixth round, Dorian Strong, the cornerback. Sixth round, Chase Lunt, the O tackle. And then seventh round, Caden Prather, the Maryland wide receiver. Metro, this one was not my cup of tea. Now, I'm a very positive guy, and I try to promote everybody in every team. But if I get everybody a B+ or a C+, then why are y'all listening? I got to give my opinions and my true thoughts. I'm not a big Landon Jackson guy. I'm cool with TJ Sanders. 9 overall is a little bit rich for me in the second round. Maxwell Hairston, I think you could have got him with your second round pick. That's just me. I just think a lot of these players, and then Deion Walker, I think he's staying straight up. Yes, he's big. I understand. Yeah. I don't think he's a very good football player. A lot of hard criticism, okay? Well, who am I to judge? I'm not in the arena. But today I have to because I'm on the mic. I didn't love this draft. I gave it a D+. I just think they reached in almost every single position, and these guys could be good players, but I think you could have got more value or even traded back and get some guys who still want it.
yeah, this was an up and down class for me. I was not a fan of Maxwell Hairston in round 1, especially with Will Johnson being there and some of the really talented players. It just felt like getting a corner with Maxwell just felt like a bit of a reach for me, so wasn't a huge fan of that one. I don't mind TJ Sanders in rounds 2. A little early for me as well, but I don't have a huge issue with it. Landon Jackson, round 3, I think is appropriate value for him. I mean, long, lengthy. Not sure if he's the greatest scheme fit, but man, he's just a good player, so I don't really blame them there. Deion Walker, I'm out on him, dude. I just think that this guy, big fat dude with no skill. That's what I see. And no disrespect to him. He's an NFL player, makes more money than me.
Beyond disrespectful.
I know. And then, Jordan Hancock, good player. I think more of a special teams guy. I like the Dorian Strong later in the 6th round. I thought that was really good value. Same with Chase Lunt.
Me too. I like Dorian.
Those 2 picks in the 6th round I thought were really good. And I don't know if they'll be impactful players, but at the bare minimum, I think they'll be on the roster for some time and maybe get some spot starts here and there. So up and down for me. I don't hate their class. I'd give it maybe like a straight up C, just because good value for Landon Jackson and Dorian Strong and Chase Lunt. But man, I don't love the Maxwell Hairston pick. I just feel like that's a risky pick, especially for a team that's taken some risky corners lately. I feel like they needed a surefire hit. Not too sure if that's what Maxwell Hairston can be, but I do think he's a good scheme fit. And if there was a spot for him to succeed, it would be with Buffalo. So I'm wishing him the best there. And, I give it a C. Just the Deion Walker pick, I don't know, dude. I don't think I would have drafted him, frankly. Unless I was desperate. I just think that's a lot of work for a dude that just has, I hate to say, he's very unskillful right now. Has a lot of work to do. So
he's a project. That's what he is. And if you hit the ceiling, it works. This is just, it comes down to these guys are in the NFL. They get paid to do this. I'm just on the sideline. But my big board reflects not these rankings, so I just have to give it a D+. So D+ for me, and then a C for Metro?
Yeah, C for me. Just the Deion Walker pick in round 4. Whew, man, good luck with that.
Yeah,
Kind of lose 15 pounds maybe, chuck those arms a little bit more, get those feet churning, keep your back down, hands up. It's a lot of work you got to do for that guy, but
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there, Buffalo. We will get there.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Carolina Panthers. Let's talk about their picks. First round, we got Tedero McMillan, the wide receiver. Second round, Nick Scordon, the edge rusher. Third round, Princely Yu, the edge rusher. Fourth round, we got Trevor Etienne, the running back. Fourth round, Lathan Ransom, the safety. Fifth round, Cam Jackson, the D tackle. Fifth round,
Mitchell Evans.
This? Thank you, Mitchell Evans. I don't know why I couldn't say Mitchell for the first time. Mitchell Evans, the tight end. Sixth round, Jimmy Horn Jr., the wide receiver. That is their class. Metro, what are your thoughts on Carolina?
2 words. They cooked. This is one of my favorite draft classes. I was a bit surprised with Tet at 8, and a part of me was like, man, I don't know. That defense sucks. This is a risky pick. Then Nick Scordon in round 2. Me and Cade, we both think he's a round 1 talent. Princely Emmanuel, one of the best pass rushers in this class. I think he was a day 2 guy. Definitely worth the pick in round 3, a good value guy. Trevor Etienne, admittedly speaking, they don't need running back because they have, who do they have? Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowell, Jonathan Brooks, now Trevor Etienne. A lot of running backs, but maybe you could trade one of those guys. Lathan Ransom around 4 also thought was pretty good value. Mitchell Evans as a inline blocker, and then Jimmy Horn. I mean, a lot of NFL analysts are really high on him, and frankly, I'm shocked he made it to round 6. So just think they killed it with this class. They needed to find some pass rushers. They got 2 of them. I think they'll both be starters for this team in the long term. And getting a first or a wide receiver 1 in Tent McMillan with that receiving core, with all the question marks they had, I love the draft class they put together. They're really supporting Bryce Young, and they're starting to build up this defense. This is not going to be a Cardinals team that goes from 5 wins to 10 wins next year. But if they can get to 7 or 8, I wouldn't be surprised. And I think a big reason why is because of this draft class. So I'll give it an A.
Let's go, Metro. Fire me up. Absolutely fire me up. And I mean, you encapsulated it great, man. The Nick Scorton, Tedro McMillan back-to-back. It just puts confidence in that Tedro McMillan pick at 8 overall. He's a really good player, but like you said, we need to address this edge rush, and we did it in the 2nd round. And then you got Princely You to stack it on top of that. You said everything, man. I gave this a B+. I don't know why I'm holding out. I think the superstar power isn't quite there, but I should probably give him an A. But I'm going to be a little bit humbler than I should be. I'm going to give him a B+, an awesome score for the draft. Anything above a C, you killed it. And I love Carolina's picks right here.
Yeah, that's fair. If you're a little bit more pessimistic about the superstar power of certain of these players, totally understand it. For me, man, Nick Scorton he's
sweet, dude.
He's going to be a sweet player for this team if he can really develop. And then Princely has a variety of pass rush moves. So I'm excited for them. I think it's a good draft class.
Awesome. Good stuff. On to Chicago. Chicago Bears, man. Before we go ahead. Did you have something to say?
No, it's a good draft.
The Chicago Bears, I must mention before I call out picks, they traded back and around a ton and acquired a bunch of things for the future. So this has to be noted in their draft. Now let's talk about their picks and get straight into this. First, we have Colson Loveland at 10 overall, the tight end. In the 2nd round, we have Luther Burden, the 3rd, wide receiver. And then in the 2nd round, again, we have Ozzie Trapillo, the offensive tackle. 2nd round, we have Shamar Turner, the D tackle. 4th round, we have Rubin, the linebacker. 5th round, Za Frazier, the cornerback. 6th round, we have Luke Newman, the O tackle. And then 7th round, Kyle Monungai. There's my man going to the Bears. Metro, I mean, this is one of, maybe not weird's the word, but weird's probably the word. Colson Loveland at 10. I didn't expect with Cole Kmet in the building, right? He's got him on a big contract. I don't expect the Bears to do that. They pull this off. Loveland's sweet. I'm cool with it. Then they go Luther Burden in the 2nd. An awesome wideout, but I guess the value is there. Ozzie, you love Ozzie. I know you do, so I'm going to take faith in you. I trust your scouting on the O-lineman. Shamar Turner, solid pick. And then Kyle Monungai, you know I'm an absolute huge fan of him. Now, this is the weirdest thing. They got their guys. This is who Ben Johnson wanted specifically. So I think they cooked. I just don't know. But here's the thing. They have so many weapons, it like bothers me. But at the same time, their roster is so complete. I get it. Like you can afford to get dessert now. I completely understand. So this is a small-minded thing for me, but I went B-, and I'm probably completely wrong. But I don't think you need all these weapons. They have like DJ Moore, Rome, Luther, Colson Loveland. It's getting ridiculous. And then Kmet. It's just they have so many. They can't put them all in one single formation. But yeah, you get my point. I'm gonna let you take it from here.
Yeah, this was a fun, but just this is like what a Madden player's dream would be. Like, if I was a Madden player, like, I'm going to say, you know what, Braxton Jones, you're good at my left tackle spot. I don't need to replace you. We don't need edge rushing depth. We need another tight end and receiver. And in some ways, I can't be mad at them because their team is really complete. I do say this, though. Colston Loveland at pick 10 was a little rich for me. I'm just not as high on Loveland. I wasn't high on Warren as much either compared to a lot of other people. But this was a Bears team that kind of had a nice spot where they could have really done anything and not really been wrong, especially with how the board fell in the 1st round, where the top 3 tackles were off the board. Some of the edge rushers had a lot of question marks to them, so they're in sort of a weird spot at pick 10. So I don't hate the pick at Colston Loveland. Frankly, I kind of wish they maybe would have took Amari Hampton there or traded back for him, just because I feel like that would have been a bit more of a fix for a need. But, I mean, Colston Loveland, Luther Burden, you want to just stack up as many weapons and give Caleb Williams zero excuses for the next several years. I mean, and then to pair that with, I mean, they had 3 second-round picks, so they took Ozzie. I think he's going to be an awesome tackle. I think probably starts off more as a swing tackle, but definitely has potential to be a starter, especially if they let him sit behind Braxton for a year or two and develop him. He's just a big, quick mover, good hands. Solid tackle prospect in round 2. I was actually pretty happy to see him go early round 2. And then Shamar Turner, I'm not as high on Shamar Turner, but I know a lot of NFL guys are. Big, beefy nose tackle that can just do a lot of dirty work. And then later in the draft, you mentioned Kyle Monangai, but also Zoff Frazier, I think could be a solid rotational corner for this team. So in general, I just really like what they did. Did you give it a grade? What did you give them?
I gave it a B- because I'm small-minded.
I'm also going to stick probably with a B, just because they didn't draft for need. They drafted for fun. And sometimes you got to draft for fun.
Got to.
But frankly, like, what is their needs? Like running back, edge depth maybe? And so it's like they earned the right to do this with all the free agency moves they did. So even though I would have liked to have seen them maybe draft a more serious edge rushing prospect and maybe a more serious running back prospect, I can't be too mad with what they've done here because just stack talent, take best player available. It's kind of like what the Eagles have done the past couple years, and the Eagles did it this year, which we'll talk about here in a second. But yeah, I like the draft class. It's just, again, I probably would have done a couple things differently, but I give it a B. I really have no problem with it.
Awesome, good stuff. So we have a B and a B- from Metro and I. Now, let's move on to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Bengals. These are their picks. In the first round, we got Shamar Stewart, the edge rusher. Second round, Demetrius Knight Jr., the linebacker. Third round, Dylan Fairchild, the offensive guard. Fourth round, Barrett Carter, the linebacker. Fifth round, Jalen Rivers, the offensive guard. And then sixth round, Taj Brooks, the running back. I'll let you start here, Metro.
Yeah, this is... Oh, man, I like it, but I don't like it. Shamar Stewart, man, has unlimited potential, but gosh, he could suck. And so that's a risky pick to take at 17. And for a team that needs to hit on defensive players right now, it's a risky pick, but I think it's a worthwhile one because I think he has just a ridiculous amount of tools, athleticism in the tool shed to get working there. Demetrius Knight is an older linebacker prospect, but I think he's a solid linebacker that, you know, Cincinnati could really use right now. So an impactful starter day one. Dylan Fairchild, I don't know if he starts or not, but I don't hate the guy at all. I mean, he's an athletic guard, could play for this team. Barrett Carter, I thought was good value in round 4. Jalen Rivers, good value. And then Taj Brooks later in the draft, I actually really like. You pair him with, I'm assuming he's going to be Chase Brown. And just think that in general it's a solid draft, but kind of a risky draft. I wouldn't say it's my favorite class, especially because they just didn't have a lot of picks. But I would give it maybe like a solid B-.
Okay, I respect it. Now, I'm just going to come out and say it. I thought this was ass.
Really?
This is me. I'm not. This is where I go back to the big board, and it's like, what am I big on? Demetrius Knight, I like him. Second round, 17th overall pick. I don't know about that. Shamar Stewart is extremely risky. I get it. Like you said, I completely get it. If he hits, this draft is a B. If he doesn't, which is 80% likely, let's just be completely honest, this class, I'm not a huge fan of it. I gave out 2 Fs this entire draft. I gave this class an F. I just don't love these players. That's just me. And Cincinnati is one of those teams that have like 4 scouts out there total. And I think it showed during this draft. Harsh words, I know. It's just not my cup of tea. Most of these guys, I think, they did an awesome job. I just wasn't about this class for Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I like some of the value down the board. Again, I wasn't a huge fan of Stewart. Thought the Demetrius Knight pick was a good pick, but I like Fairchild, Carter, Rivers, Taj Brooks. I don't really have too big of an issue with it. I'm maybe a little bit higher on these guys than you are, but Fairchild, admittedly speaking, in round 3 might have been a little high, but I mean, he's a good player who will be a solid rotational guy. So for me, I see players who will get playing time on this draft chart here. And again, the Shamar Stewart one, I mean, it's kind of the swing factor. If Shamar's good, this draft class looks really good. If he's bad, then this draft class looks really bad. So I'm sticking with a B here. I like the draft class. Just, not my favorite. Could have been a lot better, in my opinion.
Good stuff. B for Metro and an F for me. Let's go on to the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, let's talk about their picks. First, okay, we must mention, they were at 2, and they traded back for Mason Graham and acquired a second rounder, which is going to be that pick 4, correct? And they also got a first rounder next year. Is that correct, Metro?
Mm-hmm. They did, yes.
So, big trade back, lots of draft capital, and a first round next year, like I mentioned. Let's talk about their players. First round, you trade back and get Mason Graham, the D tackle. Second round, you get Carson, the linebacker out of UCLA. Second round, again, you get Quinshon Judkins with the trade back, the running back. Third round, you get Harold Fannin Jr. Third round, you get Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback. Fourth round, you get Dylan Sampson, the running back. And then fifth round, Shedeur Sanders sliding all the way down there. They trade up and get their guy. People thought he was going to go at 2 or 3. People thought he was going to go at 9 or back of the first. And here we are, the slide. Y'all probably are sick of hearing about him, but we must mention it, especially when we're talking about the Browns. Metro, I think let's talk about the elephant in the room. What happened? How does Shedeur slide to the 5th round in the NFL draft? This might be the biggest slide in NFL draft history.
Yeah, it's just in general with the Browns class. It's weird. It is a bizarre class with Shedeur. I think it was a combination of just NFL front offices not wanting to deal with Dion, the pressure of having a Shedeur. I mean, we kind of see it if you guys watch the NBA with Bronny, how much media attention's on him for a guy who's just in the G League. It would be kind of a similar situation with Shedeur. So if you were a team that did not have a first-round grade on him or a starting caliber grade on him, why bring him into the roster then, right? If I'm a team, let's say like New Orleans, for example, and I have a quarterback need, if I don't view Shedeur as a starting quarterback, why would I take him, right? Now, granted, I think they're silly. I think Tyler Shock, which we'll get to here in a second, was not worth that pick. I think Shedeur was clearly more worthwhile. I think there's a lot of factors in this one that kind of cuts a little bit deeper into how NFL teams see Shedeur, see his antics, see NIL. For me, though, the Browns was a terrible spot for him. This was a bizarre, just weird pick because you took Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, a full round above Shedeur, and it's so clear and obvious that Shedeur is a way better player than Dylan Gabriel. So that one just made zero sense to me. And a couple of these picks I love, but there's a couple picks in here that I'm like, what are they thinking?
Truly, like you said, this draft, when it started, Metro, when I saw Cleveland trade back and acquire this draft capital and get Mason Graham, I'm like, are the Browns good again? Is this draft day? Are they about to cook? Sonny Weaver, I want all my picks back. Mason Graham, awesome pick. Carson, I like Carson a lot. Maybe not 1 overall, but I'm cool with him there. I think he's a sweet player. Quinshon Judkins. At that moment in the draft, I'm thinking, holy shit, the Browns are so back. From there, Harold Fannin Jr. He's cool. I think there's other players you can get in the 3rd round than Harold Fannin Jr. And then this is the biggest question mark. You got Quinshon, and then you get Dylan Gabriel. I get they're different running backs. I understand that. But the Dylan Gabriel... Yeah, sorry, Sampson, you're right. So Dylan Sampson, different running backs. But I want to talk about Gabriel so much. The Gabriel to Shedeur, you draft Gabriel, he doesn't have starter ceiling, which is okay. He's going to be a good, solid quarterback in the NFL. He'll be on rosters for a long time. You got plenty of quarterbacks in that room. Interesting way to just bring another piece in there. And that's a 3rd-round pick. That's expensive capital. And then you take Shedeur in the 5th to just crowd the room even more. And now we're like, what's the point of Dylan Gabriel being in there? I don't understand. It felt like a burnt 3rd rounder to me. Overall, when they started this draft, I'm like, this is going towards an A. And then near the end, I thought it was like a B-. I like the talent they acquired. It was just a weird way to get there and so many mixed emotions. I feel like an owner called in to make this pick. But I thought it was a cool draft. It was entertaining. They won headlines. I can tell you that.
It was entertaining. The Mason Graham swap, I think I just would have stuck with Travis Hunter, even though they did get an additional first. But I can understand it. Mason Graham's a good player. Carson Schwessinger, 1st overall in the 2nd round, was very rich for me. I don't think he's that good, but especially because they don't really desperately need linebackers. It wasn't like their biggest of needs, but I think Quinshon Judkins, great pick. Harold Fannin was just, I mean, if you want to run 12 personnel, I get it, but I don't know about that one. I've never been high on Harold Fannin. I don't think he has the upside that a lot of people think he does. The Gabriel pick just is baffling for me, frankly. It's so baffling to me. I get it. It's a late 3rd-round pick. He's going to be a good backup quarterback. But come on, guys. Like, you already have Kenny Pickett. You already have Joe Flacco. Then you took Shedeur to double down in the positional room. It's just baffling. And then Dylan Sampson will pair super nicely with Quinshon Judkins. So some good, some bad. The Shedeur, Dylan Gabriel thing is going to be just money to watch this offseason. Like, who gets the backup role? Because we all think probably Flacco or Pickett will start. By the way, if I'm Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco, I'm pretty pissed off right now.
That's right.
Because they were probably promised a starting or backup role, and now they're probably going to be benched behind Gabriel or Shedeur at some point. The competition between Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders is going to be very fun to watch. And frankly, I think Shedeur will win that competition, but it's going to be fun to watch. And I hope it works out for Cleveland. If Shedeur ends up being this great quarterback, then sweet, you got a first-round quarterback in round 5. But I don't know. It's a bizarre one. What grade did you give it?
Entertainment factor, A+. Actual grade, just because if you hit on Shedeur, you're going to cook, a B-.
Yeah, if Shedeur works out for them and it works out how I think they want it to work out, I will give this one a B+, just because I think I would have preferred Travis Hunter, Carson Schwarzenegger. I didn't like that pet value. The running backs were great. Harold Fannin was a big no for me. But then the quarterbacks, hey, Shedeur works out, you got your starter, Dylan Gabriel could be your backup, or vice versa. We'll have to wait and see. So a lot of good here, but also a lot of question marks to be answered over the next couple weeks. So I give it a B+.
Awesome. Good stuff. So B+ from you and a B- from me. Good stuff for the Cleveland Browns. Entertaining at the very least. Now, Metro, your team, the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about these picks before we get into this. First round, we got Tyler Booker, the offensive guard. Second round, Donovan Ezeraku, the edge rusher. Third round, Savone Ravel Jr., the cornerback. Fifth round, Jaden Blue, the running back. Fifth round, Shamar James, the linebacker out of Florida. Sixth round, Johnny Cornelius, the tackle. Seventh, Jay Toai, I'm going to say that right, D tackle. Seventh round, Phil Maffa, the running back. And then seventh round, Tommy, the D tackle out of Maryland. Metro, I'm going to come out and say it because you're probably going to be homo because it's your team. Y'all absolutely cooked. Tyler Booker in the first round, everyone's like, I don't want to guard. Hold your horses. You take Donovan Ezeraku in the second round, who could have been a first rounder. That's 2 first-round talents in my eyes, like you mentioned. And then finally, Savone Ravel Jr. in the third round, a cornerback with unlimited upside. He could be your CB1 if things work out. Stop right there. The rest of the picks are great too. I love this draft. This was an A+ from me. Maybe you're my favorite out of everybody. You shore up the O-line, you help your pass rush, so you attack the quarterback, you protect the quarterback, and also you get a nasty cover cornerback. I'm all about it, Metro. I've yapped enough. What do you think?
I loved every pick up until the Shamar James pick. Everything after Shamar James, besides Phil Maffa, I like the Phil Maffa pick quite a bit, was a bit more of a question mark. I don't hate the picks by no means, but dude, Tyler Booker, Donovan Ezeraku, Savone Ravel, and then Jaden Blue, I think are all really good value. Booker at 12 was, admittedly speaking, a little bit of a question mark. I would not have taken Booker in the top 15, but if it works out, I don't have too big of an issue with it because, getting good guard play is important. You're replacing Zach Martin at right guard, assuming your interior offensive line is big, stout, nasty. Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Booker. Donovan Ezeraku paired opposite to Micah Parsons with Dante Fowler and Sam Williams and Marshawn Nealon is going to be a nasty combination of edge rushers. And then Savone Ravel. Look, Trevon Diggs, I don't know if he's going to be on the roster next year. He's constantly injured, and when healthy, he plays good, but he's just consistently injured. And same thing with Deron Bland. There's a lot of question marks there. So Savone Ravel, assuming the ACL is fine, I could see him starting next year. I kind of wonder how they're going to work those trio out because Trevon, Deron, and Shavon are all outside corners. But I think Deron Bland, I guess, could also move inside, so that's going to be a little bit of a question mark how they're going to work that out. Jaden Blue, I thought, was a fun pick in round 5. Speedster, good receiving back, pair that with Javonte, and then a Johnny Cornelius, more of a swing tackle. Shamar James, special teams guy, is going to develop behind some of your veterans in the linebacking core. Jay Toa, I think is how you say his last name, a big interior defensive lineman. We'll see if he makes the roster. Phil Maffa is a bruisey style running back that I think will pair nicely to Jaden Blue. And then I don't know who Tommy is. I'm just not going to comment on him. I've never seen his tape before. So hopefully it works out. We'll have to wait and see. But in general, I like the class. I wouldn't give it an A+. I'd give it an A- just because they didn't get a receiver. And that's a huge need. Who's wide receiver 2 right now? It's Jalen Tolbert, and he sucks. So
Tolbert could be great.
Yeah, but in general, as much as I wanted Matthew Golden or Jaden Higgins or one of those top receivers, it's really hard to argue with Booker, Ezeraku, and Ravel, who are all, in my opinion, first to early second round value picks. So good job with the Cowboys. Give them an A-.
Hell yeah, brother. Let's go Cowboys. Good stuff. Denver Broncos next on the board. Let's talk about their picks. First round, we got Jahdae Barron, the cornerback. Second round, R.J. Harvey, the UCF running back. Third round, Pat Bryant, the wide receiver. Third round, again, Savion Jones, the edge rusher at LSU. Fourth round, Q Robinson, the edge rusher. Sixth round, Jeremy Crawford, the punter. Seventh round, Caleb Lonier, the tight end. Metro, for the Denver Broncos. I like these players. I just think they're a little bit higher, again, than I think they should have gone. Jahdae Barron is sweet. The fact that you got him at 20, I'm all about it, and that defense just continues to get better. I just wasn't thrilled with this class. I really liked one player. I like Pat Bryant. I like R.J. Harvey, just a little bit higher than I expected. I gave this class a D, probably pretty harsh. It's one of those things, I'm not about it. I think I gave out like 5 Ds. You're hearing a lot of them early, and you probably think I'm just super negative. I just got to be honest with what I think. What do you think, Metro?
The Jahdae Barron pick is an A-plus pick for me. I mean, pair him up with Pat Surtain and what they have in the nickel. I mean, you can just throw him in there and see where he fits, and it's just going to be perfect. I'm kind of with you. The R.J. Harvey pick felt a little early. Pat Bryant felt a little early. Savion Jones was a mystery pick for me, especially when my guy Braden Swinson was available. They should have took him there, and if they took Braden Swinson, I might give this an A+, but I'm not going to. I'm kind of with you. Everything after round 1, I don't hate the players. I think R.J. Harvey will be a fun player for this team. It's just, man, kind of a mismatch of value, and I trust Sean Payton to put together a good class, so we might be a bit more negative on it right now, but I'm sure Sean Payton specifically picked those certain players and we'll find a good role for them. Right now, I'll give it a C, just because Jahdae Barron's kind of carrying the class for me. Everyone else, value-wise, like, RJ's a good player. Round 2 was a little rich for me. I would have took him late round 3, early round 4. Same with Pat Bryant. Savion Jones, kind of the same ordeal. So just kind of a mismatch of value, but the Jahdae Barron pick is sweet. So the Jahdae Barron kind of carries this class, and I'm sure it'll work out. And they got a punter, so who's a great punter, by the way. So maybe that should bring it up to a C+, but I'm going to stick at a C.
Love punters. Punters make all classes an A+.
Oh, yes.
Let's go to the Detroit Lions, my team. Let's talk about their picks. First, Tyleik Williams in the first round, the D tackle. Second round, we got Tate Ratledge, the offensive guard. Third round, how do you say his last name? Isaac Tesla. Oh, very cool. Isaac Tesla, the wide receiver out of Arkansas. Fifth round, Miles Frazier, the offensive guard. Sixth round, Ahmed Hassan, the edge rusher. Seventh round, Dan Jackson, the safety. And then seventh round, Dominic Levet, the wide receiver. My Detroit Lions, I think they got good, solid trench players in the first 2 picks. Like Tate Ratledge, I'm all about it. Tyleik Williams, I'm all about it. Are they drafted higher than value? They could be, But I trust Brad Holmes. The dude rarely misses on picks. The one that puzzled me, just because I don't know about him, and when you don't know things, you're more likely to be, vulnerable about it. Isaac Tesla, I don't even know how to say his last name. We traded like 3 third rounders to get up in the third round to get this guy. He must be a baller, and they must think so too. They must really like his character. You got a guy like Amon-Ra in the fourth a couple years ago, so I trust their drafting. I trust their wide receiver drafting skills. I just want to see it first. I gave this a solid C because I trust the front office. I thought some of the value was higher than expected, but I like the players at the end of the day. And I do also like Miles Frazier, the guard in the 5th round. I thought that was solid value in case Tate Ratledge is in a home run. That's my thoughts. What about you, Metro?
Solid class, continuing the trend of just getting disgusting, nasty players who want to get physical and brawling. Tyleik Williams is kind of the embodiment of that. Just a big physical mauler in the run defense and getting in the disruptions and pass run. Tate Ratledge, good player, dealt with some injuries, can play guard, probably can play center as well. Physical, big body. Isaac Tesla is interesting. Round 3 was a little rich for me, but 6'4", 214, can play on the slot, can play on the outside. More of a burner. And for this roster, you pair that up with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. I think it could work out. Potentially he might be your replacement for Jameson Williams if they can't get him really going. So round 3, having a trade up for him was a little rich for me, but at the end of the day, it could have been a lot worse. And Miles Frazier was good value in round 5, and then 6, 7, 7 were just okay picks. So in totality, I think this was a solid class of building within the trenches. And then Isaac Tesla could be something more of a developmental piece in the receiving core that you can work on. So for me, I give this one a good old C+, just because I don't love the Tyleik Williams pick in round 1. Just kind of feel like he's just a big old run stuffer, and I might want a little bit more flashy in round 1. But, man, in general, just a solid class. It feels like a very Detroit Lions class of just getting big, strong, physical guys who are going to just be nasty players. So I give it a good old C+.
Couldn't have said it better. It's on brand, and for that, you got to trust the process.
Yes.
Next, we have the Green Bay Packers. In the first round, they went with Matthew Golden, the wide receiver. Second round, Anthony Belton, the O-tackle. Third round, Savion Williams, the wide receiver. Fourth round, Sorrell, the edge rusher out of Texas. Fifth round, Colin Oliver, the linebacker/edge out of Oklahoma State. Sixth round, Warren Brinson, the D-tackle. Seventh round, Micah Robinson, the cornerback. And then seventh round, again, John Williams, the O-tackle. Metro, talk to me, man. What are your thoughts on the Green Bay Packers class right here?
Hit and miss for me. Matthew Golden pick was fun in round 1, especially with the crowd there. They all wanted a receiver, and it was like, okay, fine, we'll finally do it for you. And I think he's an awesome fit in general because you don't really have a true outside guy who can be a consistent threat in the receiving core. You have Jaden Reed, who's just so inconsistent, Christian Watson, who struggles to stay healthy, and then Romeo Doubs, who also struggles to stay consistent, is more of a deep threat. Matthew Golden can kind of be your all-around guy. Solid route runner, moves really nicely, fluid mover, fast guy. He'll be Jordan Love's best friend. The Anthony Belton pick is confusing to me, just because, sure, you can stick him inside to play guard, maybe he plays tackle, but they've done so much work on that offensive line. Picking Jordan, what was the dude they drafted in the first round last year? I'm blanking on his name. The guard, Jordan, I can't remember his name. And then they brought in the dude from Aaron Banks, and so you already have your tackle set up. So I just have a hard time seeing where Anthony Belton fits inside there. And then the Savion Williams pick, he's just not a top 20 receiver in my opinion. He is a project player with good size, good athleticism, but man, he's just not much of a receiver right now. You got to design a lot of plays for him, and sure, it could be fun, but I don't know. But the Barrett Sorrell pick, I'm a big fan of that one. Colin Oliver should be a fun little project, and then down the board, just more special teams, rotational guys. So not the greatest class. I felt like it did address some issues, but they didn't seriously address the edge rushing room. They didn't even draft a corner till round 7. So I don't feel like they did their defense much justice here, but I do think they gave some offensive weaponry here. So for Green Bay, I don't think they got significantly better, but I think they had an okay class. So I'll give it a C+.
Very nice. I gave it a C on the dot. Like you said, Matthew Golden, very interesting. I think we both talked about this 10 times now, but if you're going to draft a wide receiver there, he better be your wide receiver 1 because you got so many wide receiver 2s in the building, right? That means they believe in Matthew Golden, and how can you not? He's an awesome electric wide receiver. He's honestly one of my favorite. He just went to my dynasty team. I love this dude. And then in the second round, Anthony Belton. I'm actually higher on him than most are. I can see the vision. Okay, I get it. But Savion Williams, like you said, is where it just kind of confuses me. I think he's really athletic, and you can see just to jump off tape. This guy's got real juice, man. It's like that wide receiver room's already crowded. We got so many weapons. I don't see why you swing on Savion Williams in the third. But maybe I'm wrong. They know something we don't, and the Packers are just consistently good. I gave this a solid C at the end of the day.
Yeah, Jordan Morgan was his name. I don't know why I was blanking on it. But I just look at it. Rasheed Walker's a solid tackle. Zach Tom's a solid tackle. Aaron Banks at guard. I mean, Jordan Morgan, I'm assuming, sticks in at right guard. So there goes Sean Ryan and then Elton Jenkins at center. So I just don't really see what you do with Anthony Belton there. And for a second-round pick, it was a little rich for me. And then we talked about it. Wide receiving core, sure, you can probably move off of some of these guys, but Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden, Dontavian Wicks, Bo Melton, McCole Hardman, Christian Watson, and then now you throw in Savion Williams. Like, that's a lot of bodies. And just don't feel like there's a lot of quality there. So for me, not a huge fan of it. Just in general, felt like this was a fun class with some good picks, but also a couple confusing ones. So what grade did you give it?
I give it a C on the dot.
C. Fair enough.
Very cool. Let's move on to the Houston Texans. Houston Texans, here are their draft picks. Second round, Jaden Higgins, the wide receiver. Second round again, Ante Essery, the O-tackle out of Minnesota. Third round, Jalen Noel, the wide receiver. His teammate, Jaden Higgins' teammate on the same team. Third round again, Jalen Smith, the cornerback out of USC. Fourth round, Woody Marks, USC again. All the teammates are just rolling in together. The running back out of USC. Sixth round, Jalen Reed, the safety out of Penn State. Sixth round again, Graham Mertz, the quarterback out of Florida. Seventh round, Keontae Hamilton, the D-tackle out of Rutgers. And seventh round to finish off this draft class, Luke Lacey, I don't know how to say it correctly, out of Iowa, the tight end. Metro, this one is very interesting. What are your thoughts here?
I think it's a good class. I'm a huge fan of Higgins. To trade back and get, in my opinion, a guy who can be a wide receiver 1 but doesn't have to because he can play opposite of Nico Collins. Nico's consistently injured. Higgins is kind of like a pretty solid copy of what you're already getting in Nico Collins. So what's better than 1 Nico Collins? 2 Nico Collins. And that's what you're getting with Jaden Higgins. And then Ursary, versatile piece, can play tackle, can play guard. Kind of addresses a lot of their issues there. And then Jalen Noel, like you said, getting his teammate. Noel's a bit more inside guy, but, man, he can move quite nicely. And then you pair up Higgins with Noel again, and kind of feel bad for Tank Dell. This probably means that Tank is either really injured or just not a long-term piece for them. Jalen Smith, I thought, was maybe a little early in round 3, but they followed it up with Woody Marks, a receiving back that I think has a lot of potential. Jalen Reed falling to round 6, I thought was great value for the safety room, just a really smooth mover. I think he had 5 picks over the past couple years. Graham Mertz is a questionable one. I don't understand that one at all. God, he's been injured. Yeah, QB1 over CJ Stroud probably, but Quinn Ewers is on the board. I'm a lot higher on Quinn for me, so this one was a bit suspect. And Keontae Hamilton, Luke Lachey, we'll see how those guys pan out. But I thought it was a good class. I really liked it. I give it now. Granted, they didn't seriously address their offensive line, but I think they did enough with Ursary that I feel okay about it. So. Still think there was work that needs to be done, specifically 2026. I think they have to go for tackle, but it's a good start with Ursary. So I'm going to give this one, I think I'll go with a B. I think I'll go straight B.
I like it. I like it a lot. With the Houston Texans, this one, like you said, it's weird. I don't know how to grade this one. Higgins is an awesome wide receiver. Fire me up. I just think CJ Stroud might die. That's what I'm really concerned about here. We have Jaden Higgins at home, if I'm being honest. We got Nico Collins. That's kind of the question. It's really fun. 7-on-7 team's going to be electric. But how is the offensive line going to hold on? You got Ursary. I see that. I think you need an inside offensive lineman as well. So with that, I gave it a C. I don't know how to feel about it. I like the players. I like the class. I'm just worried for C.J. Stroud's health, and I just can't in good mind give it any higher than that. So that's where I'm going to give it. I love the players. I think they did a good job just getting great talent, and that's what the draft's about at the end of the day. So maybe I should raise my grade, but I'm going to stick here with my C and stay true to what I said.
Can I try and convince you of potentially raising
please.
It? Okay, I want to give you what a potential Houston Texans offensive line might be with Ursary. Okay. Not sure this will sway you. You don't have to be swayed. Just hear me out.
Okay.
All right. Cam Robinson. Okay. Ursary at left guard with Laken Tomlinson as your backup. Jarrett Patterson at center. Boo, not very good. Titus Howard at right guard, and then Trent Brown at right tackle. Now, is that a good offensive line? No. Is it capable? Maybe. So have I swayed you?
I don't think Esri can play guard.
He is a big boy. He's a big dude.
He doesn't have any bend.
Okay.
That's my only question. If he could,
that's fair.
If he was flexible, that's my kicker. If he was flexible, could bend, I think he put his hand in the dirt and play guard. I don't think he can. I appreciate you trying.
I think he could play guard just because he's so big.
He's pretty massive.
And the nice thing about playing guard is you're going up against nose tackles and defensive linemen that don't typically have too much bend, specifically in a 4-3 situation. So I do see him more as a tackle, but I think he could play guard. Not to mention, I didn't even mention Blake Fisher. Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah, nice little swing tackle. We could do some
though.
things. But, yeah, I think – so you're sticking with a C. What'd I give it? I can't remember.
You know what, Metro? With that effort, I'm pulling it up to a C+. You convinced me. It's coming up a little bit. And, I gotta stop being so negative. But, yeah, it's a cool class, man. It's a fun class.
Texans fans, I did you guys a solid. You guys are welcome. You guys went from a C to what now? C+?
C+, baby.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Indianapolis Colts. Let's discuss their players. First round, Tyler Warren. We could have said this months ago. We knew that was the pick, the tight end. Yeah. Second round, JT Tuimoloau, the edge rusher. Third round, Justin Whaley, the cornerback out of Minnesota. Fourth round, Jalen Travis, the O-tackle. Fifth round, DJ Giddens, the running back. Sixth round, Riley Leonard, the quarterback. Sixth round again, Tim Smith, the D-tackle. And seventh round, Hunter Wohler, the safety. Metro, what are your thoughts in this class? It's kind of like black and white to me. It's pretty simple to kind of break down, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Tyler Warren was a clear-cut pick. If he made it there to 14, you had to take him. That's a significant upgrade in the tight end room. JT Tuimoloau has limited upside as a pass rusher, but just think he's going to be a long-term rotational player that's good against the run, can give you some juice as a pass rusher. Wally was a little early for me. I did not have a day 2 grade, more of a day 3 grade on him, but definitely there is some potential there. There's a lot of inconsistency within the secondary, so maybe he can carve a little rollout for himself. Jalen Travis, admittedly speaking, I'm not too familiar with this game, but 6'8", 339. This is a Colts team that lost a lot of offensive linemen, so we'll see if he can develop. DJ Giddens, really good player. A lot of people had him in their top 10s. Shifty, kind of undersized, but just a shifty back that can be solid in pass game and just do a lot for this team. Riley Leonard is Daniel Jones, basically, but maybe a little bit better.
Honestly,
I just think
when you say it like that, he's like Jones and AR put together.
Kind of. I mean, he went to Duke, so I don't want to make the simple comparison, but they kind of play alike. Like, these are guys who aren't making super complex reads. They're, you need to kind of dial things up for them, but they're good athletes. They have good enough arms. So I don't know how to feel about it. Like, sure, A, for consistency, but I feel like this team kind of needed a little bit of a difference maker, and I don't know. But then Tim Smith and then Hunter. This is okay class. The Tyler Warren pick is fantastic. The JT pick is solid, but I don't know. The rest was DJ Giddens was good. I'll give this one. I think the Tyler Warren pick is just so perfect. Like, that pick alone makes this draft pretty solid. So I'll give it like a B minus. I'll go B minus, just because the rest of the class just not a lot of difference makers, but in general solid.
I'm right with you, man. Tyler Warren, like slam dunk, home run, awesome. JT's really stout. I think it's a good pick at the end of the day. You say he's picked high or low, it doesn't really matter. He's going to be a good football player. And then I love the value in DJ Giddens. If Taylor gets hurt or he's tired, throw that man out there. He's going to do a great job, a really well-built running back who's got plenty of speed to go.
Maybe that's why they took Riley Leonard, because the Anthony Richardson guy just consistently gets tired.
but he's getting, hey, get me out the game. Fourth quarter, I don't want to be in. Daniel Jones is like, fuck this, I ain't going in. But Riley will get in there. He's like, get me in there. I'm about it. Riley battles, man. So, yeah. Also, Riley Leonard's fun. I think it's a cool pick. He's got a bunch of upside. I'm going to give it a C+, so right against your B-. I think it's a solid class. You addressed your needs, you did your thing, and you got some cool talent as well. It's a win of a draft right there.
Yeah, just not a lot of difference makers, but just, maybe sometimes having a class where you just get like one superstar and two solid players is a good class. And that's not to say that Wally, Travis, Leonard, Smith, any of those guys can't pan out. It's just, at first glance, I'm only seeing like 2, maybe 3 real difference makers. But you never know. Maybe those guys will work out. I'm sure they saw some talent there. Totally.
And truth be told, last thing I'll say, I'm unfamiliar with their game, Wally and Travis, and that's just a me problem, not a them problem. So when it's a user error, so that's why I gave him a C+.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Wally, but Jalen Travis, I'm a little not cultured with.
No, we're not of the culture.
Yep.
Let's go on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, man, did they have a stunner to kick this one off. In the dark cave, the Jacksonville Jaguars have been planning this trade from 5 overall to 2 overall with the Cleveland Browns. They send away a second-round pick, a first-round pick of next year, and their 5th overall pick, of course. It's a good old swap. And they get Travis Hunter at 2 overall to be starting at wide receiver and then also eventually in some cornerback packages. 3rd round, we got Caleb Warsaw, the cornerback. 3rd round, we got Wyatt Milam, the offensive guard. 4th round, Bashal Tutton, the running back. 4th round, Jack Kaiser, the linebacker. 6th round, Jalen McLeod, the linebacker. 6th round, Raywan Lane, the 3rd safety. And then 7th round, we have Jonah Monheim. There we go, Monheim. Jonah Monheim, the center out of USC. And then lastly, LaQuint Allen. Ooh, very fun. The running back out of Syracuse. What were your thoughts? Because this is the headliner, man. The entertainment factor here was so much fun. I didn't see this coming, Metro. We've done like 10,000 mock drafts. I didn't know Jacksonville was in the talks for a trade-up. Did anybody?
No, I really felt like Cleveland was locked in there. And frankly, maybe they should have been. I kind of wonder, like, how long that, because I have a sort of a feeling that this was not something that just happened in the last 24 hours before the draft starts. Like, this had to be brewing for quite some time. So it kind of makes me wonder how long they had this kind of set up and ready to go. But they made the trade regardless of when it actually happened. The Travis Hunter is just a slam dunk. He fits receiver, corner, he just kind of wherever you need him to. I think But to be honest with you, I think he probably plays both sides, especially probably receiver. We'll see how long he does it for and how effectively, but just think he's the best player in the class. Does so much for this team. Caleb Ransaw, a little early for me in round 3. A high upside player, quick mover. I think they said that he ran the 3rd fastest 40, so he can definitely move. I don't see him starting, though. Like, he needs a lot of development. But, yeah, I mean, Travis Hunter plays on the outside. Jordan Lewis, you already have a couple guys. So Caleb doesn't have to start immediately, but it would have been nice to get an impactful player. Then Wyatt Milam in round 3, right after Caleb. Man, what a home run hit there. Like, just, I hate to say it, but Wyatt Milam, I'm a little shocked he didn't get more first or second round buzz, just because he's going to be a solid starter. Like, he is not going to be a Pro Bowler or anything like that, and he won't ever be special, but he's going to be a starter for multiple years, and to get that value in round 3 was pretty nice. Bashul Tutin, probably going to be your Travis Etienne replacement. There was a lot of talk about Ashton Jeanty being the pick. I kind of like Travis Hunter a bit more, and Bashul Tutin's a pretty dang good player himself. A lot of work needs to be done on him. I don't think you can just throw him out there as your lone RB1, but you pair that up with their other running back that I can't remember the name of, and Jack Kaiser, good value in round 4 as well. And then the rest of the draft class, just some solid pickups here and there. Again, probably more special teams. Jonah Monheim, though, I know a lot of people were pretty high on him, but in general, though, I mean, Travis Hunter, impact starter. Wyatt Milam, impact starter. Jack Kaiser maybe could get some run. Bashul Tutin will get some run. So solid draft class. Did not get a defensive tackle, which I think is a bit of an issue, but totality, solid class. I feel like a broken record here. I'll give this one a B.
Very nice. This class was really fun, man. Travis Hunter, when you watch that GM press conference, not the press conference, the call with Hunter, like they said, he's like, we've been planning this for months. We want you on our team. Just be yourself, show up, and just be yourself in the building, and you're going to absolutely kill it. Travis Hunter, man, when a team loves you that much, this feels like a better landing spot than the Cleveland Browns, at least, I mean, it's Cleveland Browns versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cohen wants him to be there, and then Gladstone was fired up as well. They've sold the farm to get Travis Hunter. He's going to be utilized in the best way he possibly can, and that is awesome for football as a whole. I can't wait to see what he does in the NFL. Now, the rest of this class, Wyatt was really cool. I'm a huge fan of him, like you said, Metro. He's going to be an awesome starter for years to come. Bashul Tutin is the ETN replacement. That guy's super fun. Kaiser's cool. And then also, I think Jonah's a great value, and also LaQuint Allen in the very back of the 7th. You got a bunch of impact players here. I gave this a B-. I like what they did here. I think it's really, really good. You have to account that they gave away some pretty good value to get Travis Hunter, but I mean, it's Travis Hunter, so let's not get too crazy here. But B- for me, and you said, what'd you say, Metro, B?
Yeah, I give it a B. Can I ask you a question?
Please.
If the Browns did not trade away the pick, and if they took Travis Hunter,
yes,
do you think they would have took Shedeur Sanders earlier than what they actually ended up taking him with? To pair up Hunter with Sanders for the culture, for the story?
I think absolutely. The reason, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the building. That felt like a headline. When you take Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd, and then you come back and take Shedeur Sanders in the 5th, that doesn't track, man. That doesn't make sense. If you're wanting headlines, they would have made the headline faster. That Dylan Gabriel pick would have been Shedeur Sanders. I totally agree with you right there.
I think it would have too. Yeah, I think it would have been too. I mean, if you take Travis Hunter, what better way to sell jerseys, to create new fans, to create a buzz about your roster than adding Shedeur Sanders, who's falling in the draft? Like, the Browns would have been seen as heroes almost. Like, oh my God, they're the guys that took the falling soldier. Like, this would have been perfect. But now it almost felt like a pity pick in round 5, more so than like, hey, we want you on our roster. It's more like, you can join the roster. You'll probably win the quarterback job, but we don't really want you. It's just weird vibes there. But yeah, I'm a little, honestly, it came to a point, and I'm a Cowboys fan. It came to a point where I saw Shedeur falling, and I was like, I wouldn't be mad if the Cowboys picked him. And if you had told me that the Dallas Cowboys could have picked up Shedeur Sanders, I would have been like, no, we took him at 12. What are we doing, dude? And he's saying, no, you got him in the 4th round. I'm like, sweet.
Hell yeah. I'm all about
Hell yeah.
it.
I would buy a jersey.
Oh, how do you not? Shedeur Sanders, man, I hope he wins. You see the prank call?
Dude.
That's horrible.
Weirdo behavior.
Weirdo behavior. Like, those kids have never worked for shit in their lives. That actually made me so mad. That's how I know I'm getting old, when I just get frustrated and heated about stuff like that. Like, this dude has been working his whole life to this point, and you're trying to don't get me started. But yeah, crazy prank call. You can't do that, man. That's horrible.
Yeah, 16-year-old me would have laughed at it. Now that I'm 22, about to be 23 years old, I'm sitting here like, man, F those kids. That's fucked up. What are you doing, man? You can't do that to poor Shedeur. And I'm not even the biggest Shedeur fan, but I don't know. It's the dude's day. He's having, a great time, and poor guy, he doesn't go in the round 1, he doesn't go in rounds 2 or 3. He's like, damn, what have I done? And then people prank call him. It's just kind of crazy. I don't know. Don't like that at all.
Horrible clowns. I hope they find them. Don't hurt or anything, but like, man, just horrible stuff. You deserve to be called out for being a clown if you're doing that stuff.
1,000%. Do you want to move on to Kansas City?
Would love to. Kansas City Chiefs. Let's talk about their players. First round, Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle from Ohio State. Second round, Omar Norman Lott, the D tackle. Third round, Ashton Giat. I don't know how to say that correctly. And then the edge rusher. And then we have Noah Williams in the third round of the cornerback. Fourth round, Jalen Royals, the wide receiver. Probably going to be a fantasy football. A little sneaky pick right there. Fifth round, Jeffrey Bassa, the Oregon linebacker. And then seventh round, Brashard Smith, running back SMU. What a sick landing spot for Brashard Smith. Metro, I'm going to come out here off the rip and say it. I thought this class was cool. I mean, Brashard Smith and Jeffrey Bassa kind of turned this around. Initially, I was like, it's a fine class. I just don't know some of these guys' game. Like Williams, I don't know his game very well. I don't know Ashton's game very well, so that's a me problem. Norman Lott's pretty sweet. Can he play the rundowns early? I don't know. He's more a pass rush machine, but he gets after the quarterback. But the Josh Simmons pick was a slam dunk home run. I mean, getting him at 32 is an absolute need for your team. What did you think about this draft?
I thought it was a great class. Josh Simmons, I mean, if he's healthy, he goes top 10 in my opinion, but he's not healthy. There's also character concerns. You don't have to worry about character concerns with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Just not going to work. But, if he's healthy, which, I mean, he fell for a reason, so there are legit question marks. But a healthy Josh Simmons goes top 10. Omar Norman Lott, the back end of round 2, really good pass rusher. Not sure what you're going to get on him on first downs as a run stuffer, but, in terms of a pass rush guy, he's there, and he has the potential to be a really solid run stuffer. Ashton, I'm not the biggest fan of. He's just a really big defensive lineman that I don't know if you're going to get much bend out of, but, I mean, he has production, so, I mean, you always can back on that. Noah Williams is good value in round 3 for me. One of my risers late. I watched his film a little bit later and was really impressed with him. Just a well-sized outside corner, moves McDuffie back in the slot. Jalen Royals, just a nice slot receiver. Not sure if I love the fit for this specific team, just because a lot of bodies in that receiving core, but okay. Jeffrey Bassa, good value in round 5. And then Brashard Smith, excellent value, somebody that I would have been totally fine going in as early as round 4. So in general, like, this was a kind of a needed draft class for the Chiefs because this was a roster that, let's just be honest, kind of was losing a step a little bit. You move off of some of your really good players, you lose your safety, you lose your guard. You're starting to pay some of your young, cheaper players now, and you have to find ways to add in some pieces to play immediately. And a healthy Josh Simmons is a starter. A healthy Omar Norman Lott could be a rotational starter. Ashton Gillette, we'll see. Noah Williams, I think, could be a starter. Jeffrey Bassa, more of a special teams guy, but Brashard Smith, I think he can be a starter, and he is just a swift, smooth mover. So really solid class here for Kansas City. I'm going to give it an A-. The Ashton pick in round 3, though, a little weird for me. I would have preferred maybe like a Baron Sorrell or somebody else, but just in general, really solid draft class here for the Chiefs and a much-needed one. So I'm going to give it an A- here.
Hell yeah, brother. I was at a C+ initially, but after they got Bassa, Royals, and Brashard Smith, I'm like, you know what? They got some real good value on day 3. I gave it a B-. I really like this draft. I just wasn't huge about some of the day 2 picks. That's just me. It's just a me problem. But this was an awesome draft for the Kansas City Chiefs. And like you said, now you got to win through the draft. Just like you started this awesome franchise, you got to go back to it, get really good cheap players that are young, explosive, and going to make an instant impact on your roster. Let's
Fair enough,
go.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. We're going to move over to Chargers now.
Sweet. Chargers are up. First round, Omarion Hampton, the running back. Second round, Trey Harris, the wide receiver. Third round, Jamari Caldwell, the D tackle. Fourth round, Kyle Kennard, the edge rusher. Fifth round, Keandre Lambert-Smith, the wide receiver. Fifth round, Aronde Gaston, the second tight end. Sixth round, Branson Taylor, the offensive tackle. Sixth round, again, R.J. Mickens, the safety. Seventh round, Tre'Quez Bridges, did as best I could, safety. This is their 7th round draft, and man, you probably know what I'm about to say, but you go on ahead.
I'll let you start this one off because I think I might be a little bit lower on this one than you, but I'll let you kind of start us off in the positive, and I'll bring us back down to earth.
That sounds wonderful. Positively, and I'm not going to give it like an A+ or anything, but this class is really cool, man. Omarion Hampton just fits everything that Jim Harbaugh wants to do. The fact that he fell to them at 22 and they took him with no hesitation was a pretty big thing in my eyes. They want to run the ball and establish that ground game as fast as they can. Trey Harris, I thought it was a cool pick. I'm not huge on Trey Harris, but they see big things for him. And after the QJ shaky start you've had, I understand why you take him right there at 23 in the second round. Jamar Caldwell, third round? I don't know, but I'm a huge fan of him, so hell, why not? Jamar Caldwell did really good at the Senior Bowl, someone I saw every single day, and I'm like, this guy can move, he's strong, he's stout in the run, and he even brings something to the pass rush as well. And then after that, I feel indifferent about this class, fourth round and beyond, just because, I don't know these guys' game, and I'm the problem here. I've seen a lot of tape. I think I've watched 150 players, like, actually watch their tape, and I just didn't do a bunch of research on these guys. So at the end of the day, I gave this class a solid B based on those first 3 picks. What did you think, Metro? Bring me back down to earth.
Yeah, the Trey Harris pick in round 2 I think could be nice. Just a big outside receiver that can win downfield, which they kind of have needed because QJ is more of a weapon. Ladd McConkey does more of the underneath stuff. Trey Harris a bit more deep. Jamar Caldwell, big run stuffer, well-sized guy. Like you, I think you mentioned this when we did our top 75. Wasn't he a 0-star recruit, worked his way up? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, pretty good story there. Omarion Hampton to B was a bit of a, I don't know. Round 1, just didn't love the fit, especially because he just took Najee Harrison. So, I don't want to say it was a bad pick because Hampton's a great player that I think was worthy of a first-round pick. But I think I would have probably went somewhere else there, especially because Matthew Golden was still on the board. So, granted, the board didn't fall particularly great for them, but they could have took a pass rusher too. Kyle Kennard, I don't hate that one. Long arms, well-sized, good production. Keandre Lambert-Smith, not a huge big one on that one. How do you say it? Aronde Gadsden, I don't care about the tight end pick there. I just think that was a weird one. Branson Taylor, wasn't a huge fan of that one either. I thought there was better value. RJ Makins was awesome value, even though safety is not their biggest need, but just awesome value in general. So up and down class for me. Omarion Hampton, I don't know. It could end up being a good pick depending on what Najee Harris looks like next year and just how much of an impact Omarion does make. Trey Harris, again, kind of like you, I'm not terribly high on, but I can see why they would want him. So for me, this one gets a C+. Just think that there's some good playmakers on this one. I think Makins could be a guy who makes some plays. Didn't love their I should rephrase that. I didn't love their 5th and 6th round picks outside of Makins, but Kyle Kennard, I think, could be a guy. I just felt like for this team, they really needed some defensive linemen, and sure, you got Caldwell and Kennard, but I feel like I needed impact starters from day one. Didn't really get that from this class, and I feel like they spent money or spent a pick, I guess both, on a luxury in Omarion Hampton, when they maybe could have went for a bigger position of need. So for myself, solid class, not the greatest. I'll give it a C. Or did I say C+? I can't remember now.
Either
I
or.
guess C+. C+. We'll put it like right in the middle. C.5.
C.5 from Metro and a solid B from me is our grade for the Los Angeles Chargers. For the Los Angeles Rams, here are their picks. Second round, Terrence Ferguson, the tight end. Third round, Josiah Stewart, the edge rusher. Fourth round, Jarquez Hunter, the running back. Fifth round, Ty Hamilton, the D tackle. Fifth round, Chris Paul Jr., the linebacker. And then seventh round, Kanata Mumpfield, the wide receiver. Now, the Rams, I'm going to come out and say it, they don't have a lot of juice in this class. When you're missing a first rounder, it's kind of hard to put together a really stout-looking draft class. I thought they did fine. I really like Terrence Ferguson. Is it early in the second? Maybe, but he's super athletic. I thought he did good at the Senior Bowl. Josiah Stewart can produce. I know what you're getting out of him. I'm a big fan. Hunter, solid, and then the rest of the class, indifferent about. I think it's a solid class, but it's not moving the needle anywhere, in my opinion. I think Ferguson could be a real tight end in the future. What were your thoughts, Metro? I gave this class a C overall.
Yeah, I think I'm a little higher on this one. Ferguson was a little rich for me in round 2, but they did need a tight end quite badly, and I think Ferguson kind of fits the mold of what they're going to use. So didn't dislike that one. Josiah Stewart in round 3, some real juice off the edge to add on to a defensive line that was already pretty stout. Stewart is a little undersized, but I feel like he's a pretty solid fit for the LA Rams. Jarquez Hunter, admittedly speaking, they don't really need a running back, but some good value there. I mean, he's definitely going to get some snaps, so I don't hate it. Ty Hamilton, solid pick, good run defender, good against the pass, productive player. Chris Paul Jr., one of my favorite players in this draft class. I had no issue with him going fifth round felt a little low for me, but I mean, if they took him in round 3, I would have no problem with it either. And then Kanata Munfield, admittedly speaking, probably a developmental piece, undersized player, but has shown glimpses and flashes. So he'll probably be on what's that team called? The G League team that they have.
I'm blanking.
Yeah, I don't know. He'll be on their little fun team on the bench, but everyone else, though, I really like this draft class. Maybe they could have addressed linebacker a little earlier, but Chris Paul Jr. can definitely get some snaps early on. So for me, solid draft class. I'll give it a B+. Didn't have a first-round pick. I also don't think they had a lot of picks in general, so they were able to find some value with moving down and gain additional capital, and I think they just did a solid job. So, not to mention, I think they got a first-round pick for next year. So, it's hard to hate on that.
That completely.
I want to say they traded back with Atlanta. So,
that's right, they did. Okay, then my C, that's right, is instantly bumped up to a B-. If you're acquiring a future first, good stuff. I'm a big fan.
And it works out nicely for them, too, because Matthew Stafford might be off the door. You trade up into the first round to potentially get a first overall pick for Arch or whoever might be the case in that draft. So solid class overall for the Rams. I give it a B+ here.
Big brain. B+ for Metro, B- from myself. Next, we have the Vegas Rams, and we got a lot to talk about here. Let's start. Ashton Genty in the first round, the running back. Second round, Jack Bech, the wide receiver. Third round, Darian Porter, the cornerback. Third round, again, Caleb Rogers, the O-tackle. Third round, again, we're not done, Charles Grant, the O-tackle. Fourth round, Dante Thornton Jr., the wide receiver out of Tennessee. Fourth round, again, Tonka Hemingway, the D-tackle. Sixth round, J.J. Pegues, I don't know how to say that correctly, D-tackle. Sixth round, again, Tommy Merlot, an athletic quarterback who's going to play wide receiver in the NFL. And then sixth round, Cam Miller, the quarterback out of North Dakota State. And then lastly, seventh round, Cody Lindenberg, the linebacker out of Minnesota. And Nick, let's for this one, I want us to say our grade on 3. Okay, you ready?
Give me 2 seconds. Let me think. Hold on.
Okay,
Got
There's a lot going on here. Ready?
Got it.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. B-.
A-. Okay, not too far off.
I love it. We're pretty close. There's just so much going on. I'm like, I want to see where we land. I'll let you start.
This is a class that is just, it's all over the board. We got some running back, we got a couple receivers, we got a North Dakota State quarterback. Like, this is a draft class that's just all over the board here. But I see a lot of value here. So getting Genty at 6, I think, was probably best case scenario for this team. He's just a massive impact starter who, sure, his timeline might be 4 or 5 years, but that's kind of your timeline now with Geno Smith anyways, so it kind of works out nicely here. Jack Bech, I just feel like is an awesome receiver that kind of fits the Raiders perfectly, like playing in the slot, moving to the outside occasionally. He's not the greatest athlete in the world. He won't wow you or anything like that. But if he gets a connection with Geno Smith, you're getting a really solid starting receiver. Darian Porter was good value in round 3. Caleb Rogers, kind of an underrated guy that I got a little bit later on in the process. I think he'll be a backup guard, but I think he'll compete with Dylan Parham. Charles Grant could start at tackle, and there's a lot of question marks with both tackles for the Raiders. So for Charles, maybe he doesn't start immediately, but if he does, I feel like you feel okay about it. Dante Thornton, a burner downfield. Tonka Hemingway, admittedly speaking, not too familiar with him, but I am familiar with J.J. Pegues, not sure to say it, 6'3", 309, good run stuffer, can get in the backfield occasionally. Tommy Mellott, I didn't know anything about him until the draft happened. I want to say he was a quarterback who transitioned to a receiver. So that's going to be a developmental piece that, for all we know, could be Julian Edelman, or he'll be off the team within a couple days. Cam Miller, backup quarterback. We'll see if he gets playing time. And then Cody Lindenberg in round 7 was some really good value. I really thought he was going to be more of an early day 3 guy, but to get him in the back end of the draft, really solid class for me. Maybe not a lot of huge difference makers outside of Genty, but I see 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, maybe 6 legit starters. Maybe not great starters, but capable starters. So solid draft in general.
Metro, honestly, you're so right. I'm reading this over. Porter is an alien athlete, dude. This guy's 6'3" is wrong. He's 6'4", super rangy. He runs like a 4'3". Guy's insane. The upside here is ridiculous. Jack Bech is a solid, safe pick. Ashton Genty, you know what you're getting. And then if you get Charles Grant to hit, dude, we're cooking with gas. I think I'm being soft because if I ever say the Raiders did a good job during the draft, it usually doesn't pan out right. They just kill draft picks, and I need to get over that. I need to be open-minded and realize this is a good draft, Metro. These guys killed it. I think it's more of a B plus actually when looking back at it. Like you said, a lot of potential good starters and impact players here.
Yeah, just in general, I think they just brought in a lot of good, capable players who can compete for jobs, and I felt like this was a team that kind of went best player available in positions of need pretty consistently. So yeah, I just think a really solid class. I mean, we kind of mentioned it earlier. This is a class that is all over the board. Offensive linemen, receivers, quarterbacks turned receivers, linebackers. This is a crazy class, but I respect it because they got a lot of capable starters. So, yeah, this is a good class for me. I'm pretty excited to see what the Raiders could look like next year.
Me too. If I'm a Raiders fan, I'm fired up.
Yeah.
Next, we have the Miami Dolphins. In the first round, they took Kenneth Grant, the D tackle. Second round, Jonah Savea, I don't know how to say that correctly, offensive guard. Fifth round, we got Jordan Phillips. So drop off here, folks. We need to talk about this. Second to fifth round, a big drop off in picks. Fifth round, Jordan Phillips, the D tackle. Fifth round, Jason Marshall Jr., the cornerback. Fifth round, again, Dante Trader Jr., the safety. Sixth round, Ollie Gordon, the second, the running back. Seventh round, Quinn Ewers, the quarterback out of Texas. And seventh round, Zeke Biggers, the Georgia Tech D tackle. Metro, I'm just going to come out and say it. Since they didn't have like a third and a fourth round pick, and I'm just not a big Jonah guy, I gave this class a D. I think the Kenneth Grant pick is sick. I just don't know if Tua's going to live. It's back to the thing I had with CJ Stroud. If they can't protect the quarterback, I'm really scared. Yes, Jonah, if he pans out, I'm looking like a doofus, just not my cup of tea. Now, Ollie Gordon's pretty fun. Quinn Ewers pretty fun. These are some sweet picks back here. I thought it was just a lackluster class, but they also didn't have the capital, so what can you really do? Maybe D's kind of harsh. Maybe it's more of a D plus or a C minus, but it's in that range for me. What were your thoughts on this class?
Felt like it was an okay class. Don't feel like it was the hit that they really needed. But Kenneth Grant will be an impactful starter for them with a pretty high ceiling. Jonah, we'll see what he can develop into. Really big, stout, probably more guard than tackle, but he has that flexibility to where you can kind of move him around. Jordan Phillips, more of a run stuffer up the middle. You compare him with Kenneth Grant. Jason Marshall, Dante Trader, Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon is kind of a wild card. If you get 2023 Ollie Gordon, then hey, we're talking about a potential first rounder, but I don't know if you're going to get that out of him just because, man, 2024 was rough. Like rough. And then Quinn Ewers, surprisingly, he fell to the seventh round, but I really like the fit in this system. Develop him with Tua and then Zach Wilson there. Like, this is a team that didn't really have a bona fide backup. I think Quinn very well could end up being that backup quarterback for this team. So I think good value in round 7, and I think he'll actually be on your roster. And then Zeke Biggers, I'm not too familiar with. So in totality, not the greatest class. Just felt like they could have had maybe more of an impactful draft, but they also just didn't have the draft capital. So I would have really liked to have seen the Jalen Ramsey trade done by now. So maybe you could have gotten an additional third or fourth round pick so you can take another impact starter. But maybe you bump that down the road, bank on 2026 being a better class. And in totality, though, I see one, maybe 2 starters, maybe 3 starters if you're being optimistic. Maybe not immediately, but as time develops. So, yeah, okay, class. I'll give it a... You give it a C minus. I'll give it a... I think I'll actually go with you. I'll say C minus as well.
Okay, good stuff. Next, we have the Minnesota Vikings. Pretty short list here. Let's talk about these players. First round, Donovan Jackson, the guard. Third round, Ty Felton, no second round pick. Must call out the wide receiver. Fifth round, Tyrone Ingram Dawkins, the edge rusher out of Georgia. Sixth round, Kobe King, the Penn State linebacker. And then sixth round, Gavin Bartholomew, the tight end out of Pittsburgh. Metro,
say
this
that again?
class...
Say that again?
Gavin Bartholomew, tight end. I can't read, man. I still have a second grade reading level, so be nice to me now. Don't call me out.
Bartholomew. Come on, bro. Come on.
I've read 200 players.
That's fair.
I'm losing my mind over here, okay?
That is fair.
It's all like gibberish and scribble by this point, but I will be better. I'm sorry, Gavin. That's on me. You've worked your whole life to get your name called, and I can't say correctly. I'll be better, Gavin.
He's watching this video like, it's just fucking Bartholomew. Say it right.
Get it together, man. No. Go ahead.
Do you want to start us
Take
up?
it.
You want me to start?
No,
okay.
no, I'm out of breath. You go ahead.
That's fair. So if you watched our my reaction on this channel, I did a reaction to every single first-round pick. Kind of felt bad because I passed over the Vikings really quickly and called Donovan Jackson a boring pick. My bad, Vikings fans. I'll make up for it here. The Donovan Jackson pick is pretty sweet. I mean, their offensive line kind of got completed with Donovan Jackson there. Christian Darrisaw, your hope stays healthy at left tackle. Donovan Jackson probably plays left guard. Ryan Kelly at center. Will Fries at right guard. Brian O'Neill at right tackle. Really solid unit in totality. Would like to see more depth, but they just didn't have a lot of draft picks. They have 5, so not much you can do there. But I feel like they actually got some good value here. Donovan Jackson was a good pick. Ty Felton, admittedly speaking, not a top 10 receiver for me, but would have probably been in my top 15. I think they're assuming that Addison might be out the door soon, so Ty Felton might be a good way for them to kind of have some insurance as well as just having an impact starter. Dawkins from Georgia is a really solid player, a player that I want to say was either a high 4 or 5-star coming out of college and has had some versatility. He can play edge and nose, wherever you need him at. Kobe King, I'm a little surprised fell to 6, but he is definitely an impactful player. And then Gavin, I'm not too familiar with, but no disrespect to Gavin. I feel like we're shitting on Gavin. But Gavin's in general, awesome. I feel like this was a solid class with, at the bare minimum, one impactful starter. Maybe Ty Felton can develop, become that second receiver next to Jefferson. We'll see about Dawkins and King. So I'll give this one, it's hard to grade because there's only 5 picks here, and they only had a first and no second. So it's like, I can't really do too much with it. But I'll give this one a C+, I think.
Okay, very nice. I did give this class a D+. Now, they didn't have a lot of draft capital. I just thought you could trade back and get a player similar to Donovan Jackson in the second round. That's just my thoughts. And then with your third rounder and Ty Felton, I don't think it moves the needle on the team. I like Ty Felton, just not in the third round. That's just where I stand. Kobe King's pretty good value. Dawkins is pretty sweet. Besides Donovan, who will make an impact instantly, I don't feel the needle moving, and you need to acquire more draft capital. But if you got your guy and you're leaving with one awesome starter, I think that's around a C or a D+. So that's why I'm going to give a Minnesota Vikings a D+ right here.
You know what would have been pretty sweet for this team? If they had done... Now, the board I don't think fell their way exactly, but hypothetically speaking, if they traded back from 24 down a few spots, get that extra draft capital, and then they could have taken a running back like Quinshaw Judkins in round 2, and then a Wyatt Milam in round 3, I think that would have been a pretty nice. Plus, you probably would have gotten an additional pick, so you probably still could have got Ty Felton. So
that's right.
I feel like there's maybe a better way they could have worked the board here, but I'm sure they called it. Maybe nobody was calling, or they just didn't like the offers, but. I mean, shoot, the Rams got an additional first-round pick for Falcons, so I'm sure there was some callers. I'm just a little surprised they didn't try or get a deal done, but with what they've done, they did their job. It wasn't a terrible draft, just maybe not the flashiest.
Totally. I think it's the same way. Awesome. Let's go to – you got anything else to say real quick? I heard you.
No, we're good.
Awesome. New England Patriots. Woo-wee. Let's discuss their players. First round, Will Campbell, the O-tackle at 4. Second round, Travion Henderson, the running back out of Ohio State. Third round, Kyle Williams, the wide receiver. Third round, Jared Wilson, the center out of Georgia. Fourth round, Craig Woodson, the safety. Fourth round, Joshua Farmer, the D-tackle. Fifth round, our man, Braden Swinson, out of LSU, the edge rusher. Sixth round, Andres Borregadas, the Miami place kicker. Seventh round, Marcus Bryant, the O-tackle. Seventh round, Julian Ashby, the long snapper. And then seventh round, Kobe Minor, the cornerback. Metro, these guys kicked ass. This is my favorite draft class of 2025. You protect your quarterback with Drake May. Will Campbell, awesome. Jared Wilson, awesome. How about we give some damn weapons? Travion Henderson, kick-ass, do-it-all running back. Kyle Williams, an underappreciated wide receiver prospect. These guys. And then Braden Swinson in the 5th? Are you kidding me? They cooked. They gave Drake all the weapons. They protected him. And they also got some edge rusher talent. What are your thoughts? Unless you hate this class, man, I think we're both celebrating with some champagne for the Patriots.
Yeah, this is a stellar class. Will Campbell gets on stage, say he's willing to die for Drake May. I was like, I'm sold, dude. This guy's a baller. Love that. Travion Henderson will be your blindside protector for Drake May. Will run the rock spectacularly with Ramondre Stevenson. Just a great 1-2 combination. Kyle Williams, I think, is a super fun player. Admittedly speaking, he kind of has a little bit of a Stephon Diggs feel to him, but
He does.
maybe a bit more of a downfield burner. Jared Wilson at the back end of round 3 is just insane value. Like, he only has, like, I think 1 year of true starting, but it's a good year. He has a lot of development to go with, and I think this is a team that's going to allow him to develop. Craig Woodson has multiple years of experience, can run. Joshua Farmer, a really good run stuffer. ESPN has him as the 76th ranked prospect in the class, and you got him in the back end of round 4. Braden Swinson, man, he's a top 30 player for me, and I know a lot of people have him in their top 30. Braden Swinson, I made the point that if the Bengals took him round 1, I wouldn't have been mad. And I still believe that for him to fall to round 5 is asinine. Like, he must have murdered somebody. And if he did, I still would have drafted him. That's just how much I love Braden Swinson.
I forgive Braden Swinson for whatever he did.
Exactly. Then you get a kicker. We'll see if that works out. Drafting kickers is always risky. Did not like their 7th round at all. But, hey, 7th round, you're probably getting special teams guys. So, stellar draft. I'm assuming you're giving it an A+.
A++. I don't care about the kicker and the long snapper. When you draft like this, do whatever the hell you want. What did you give him?
Oh, I didn't even realize that's a long snapper. A+. Stellar draft. You draft a freaking long snapper, that just shows that's a power move. When you draft a long snapper, it's like, we know we cooked. We don't need more talent. We are going to. This is an awesome draft. My only complaint is I wish they would have got like a, I don't know where, but like maybe a better pass rusher to pair with Braden Swinson. But that's
this is year 1 of the Vrabel area. It's Vrabel era. It's coming.
Yeah, it's going to come down the line here, and man, this is a stellar draft. Just, man, 2 starters on the offensive line, a starting running back, a starting receiver. In my opinion, one of your starting edge rushers. Even Joshua Farmer could be a starting nose tackle. You get a starting kicker and a starting long snapper. Like, that's what, 7 or 6 potential starters in one draft.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, don't get me wrong. This Patriots team's not going to win a championship next year, but they're going to look a lot better after this class. So this is a stout class for the Patriots, and I just don't have a ton of complaints with it.
So with it, if this is the Vrabel standard and they keep drafting like this, Jets fans, Dolphins fans, Buffalo fans, I don't care how good you think your team is. They're coming, and they're going to win and take that division back. Awesome draft for the Patriots. My favorite draft class. Metro, is it your favorite or like top 3?
Ooh, I have to see the rest of the draft because I haven't went through every single class till we done this video. But right now, Dallas is up there too because I may be a little bit biased. But man, New England's killed it, so I think I might be them. Them or I know Carolina had a stellar class too, but it's right now New England for me.
Awesome. Good stuff, New England Patriots. Let's move on to the New Orleans Saints. Saints. First round, we got Kelvin Banks Jr., the O-tackle / guard, whatever you want him to play. He plays it very well. Second round, Tyler Shock, Metro's favorite quarterback in this draft. Third round, we have Vernon Broughton, the D-tackle. Third round, again, we have Jonas Sanker, the safety. Fourth round, Danny Stutzman, the linebacker. Fourth round, Quincy Riley, the cornerback. Sixth round, Devin Neal, the running back. Seventh round, Maliki Mataveo, the tight end, had it good there. And then 7th round, Fidel Diggs, the edge rusher. Metro, let me hear your thoughts on this class here before I jump in.
Solid class, except for Tyler Shock. Everything about this draft is really solid. Tyler Shock in round 2 is just, I feel like, I hate that I'm like following the trend to hate on Tyler Shock, but I can't switch up on it.
It's okay, just admit it.
I have been pretty vocal, at least on this channel and on my own channel, of my, I don't want to say disliking, but my disliking of where people want Tyler Shock to go. At round 2 is insane value for me. For context, I don't have him as a top 10 quarterback in this class. Now, it's not necessarily just because of the play on the field. I think the play on the field is top 10 caliber. I just have a hard time drafting a 25-year-old with 3 season-ending injuries who makes the type of mistakes that this guy makes. Some of the things he does in the field is just wild work. But sometimes he'll make a play that makes you go, hey, now, there's something in this guy. So it's risky for the Saints to draft a 25-year-old with multiple season-ending injuries. It could work out, or it could not work out, and he gets injured. But, okay, outside of Tyler Shock, Kelvin Banks at 9, awesome pick, one of my favorite players in the draft. Vernon Broughton, A little high for me, but I think there is some juice there, and I think he can play next to Brian Bresee and be a solid starter. Jonas Sanker, good player in the safety. Admittedly, not their biggest need, but good player. Danny Stutzman could be your long-term answer at linebacker. Quincy Riley can play. Devin Neal can play. So, yeah, good draft, but I wanted them to draft a quarterback, but it was not Tyler Shock. Let's just put it that way. I would have preferred Jalen Milroe, frankly. So
I understand.
My grade on this, it would have been an A, but Tyler Shock brings it to a B-.
Okay, very nice. This class was very unique. I mean, Kelvin Banks Jr. is a slam dunk. Awesome offensive lineman. Going to be an awesome left tackle for their team. And then Tyler Shock, I'm higher on him. I think I had him at QB4. I see the upside, and I kind of knew I knew it would flash to teams. I didn't expect 8 in the second round, I could tell you that. But the dude can ball. I get it. You get your guys, and you're happy with it. The rest of the draft, I felt fine with. Stutzman is cool. Riley's pretty cool. He had a good Senior Bowl. Devin Neal's some good value. I gave it like a solid C with this class. I think Tyler, if you get an awesome player right there with great value, this bumps it into like a B+. I just have to see how Tyler plans out until I give it an actual grade. So I'm going to be a wussy right now and just give it a solid C. Where do we go from there?
Yeah, Tyler Shock. Ugh, man. It's just, I can't get over the pick. It's not just bad value, but it's just a bad pick, in my opinion. It could work out. I know you're a little bit higher on him. I'm trying to be nice. I just can't. 20. He's. This is crazy. He was on the same football team as Justin Herbert and Juwan Johnson. Those are guys who are now on their second contracts.
I hear you. Dude, I understand. You're Leonardo DiCaprio in football, man. If they're not 21, we don't want them on the team.
Yes, I don't want him if he lists 21 or lower.
Tyler has got the juice, man. He moves like he's 20. Let me tell you, he's running the 4.6 40 out there.
That is true, but he gets one hit from Myles Garrett. He's out for the rest of the season.
This is also true. That's why you draft Kelvin Banks. So we'll see what happens, but like you were saying, that makes the whole draft. If Tyler hits, oh man, they cook this draft. Mickey Loomis, welcome back.
Yeah, if Shock is a hit, if he ends up being a good player, this was a pretty solid class in general with a lot of difference makers and maybe a couple starters here and there. But man, it's a risky bet to put on a 25-year-old. But hey, he's a lot more mature than Shedeur Sanders and maybe not Jalen Milroe. I know Milroe's a really good guy, but
he's awesome.
Mature quarterback. He's already just as old as Alvin Kamara, so they'll be best friends. So yeah, it'll be fun.
I can't wait to see it. Let's go to the New York Giants. The Giants had a night on night one. Night one, they get Abdul Carter at 3, the edge rusher, and then Jackson Dart. They go back into the first round at 25 overall and get Jackson Dart, the quarterback. Third round, they kick off with Darius Alexander, the D tackle, and just edge rush machine. Fourth round, Cam Scatterbo, the running back. Fifth round, Marcus Mambeau, the offensive guard. Seventh round, Thomas Fedone II, the tight end. And then seventh round, again, Corey Black, the cornerback out of Oklahoma State. Metro, these guys, you talk about drafting like your job's on the line. Abdul Carter, Jackson Dart in the first round, killing it, having a fantastic time. Darius Alexander to kick off the third. I love the value. He's older. I know you don't like that, Metro, but this guy can ball. He was tearing it up at the Senior Bowl. And then Cam Scatterbo. We all know Cam Scatterbo. This guy's a demon, man. You talk about impacting your running back room instantly. That's what you can do with the guy out of Arizona State. And then Marcus Mambeau, I'm not crazy about him. You get him in the fifth round. That's some damn good value. I really liked this draft and what they did here. I did give it an A. I loved how they handled it. Their jobs are on the line, and, man, they came to play. I liked what the Giants did. What did you think about this draft?
Yeah, solid draft. I really like a lot of what they did. I'm not big on Jackson Dart. I would not have taken him round 1. I wouldn't have taken him round 2. I feel like I said that about every single quarterback, but I just would not have. With that said, their job is on the line. You get your quarterback. You buy yourself some more time. Abdul Carter's a superstar. I like Darius Alexander in the third. I know I've talked a lot of crap about Scatterbo, but in the fourth round, that's awesome value. Like, he's going to be a really fun player on this team. Pair that with the guy they took last year who had a pretty solid season, Tyrone Tracy. Marcus Mambeau, probably a long-term play at guard. A little undersized, but he can move quite nicely. And then Fedone, and then Corey Black, who, don't quote me on this, but I believe his brother is a current corner on Texas. So I think he might be somebody down the line we talk about. Kobe Black. We'll see if he ends up getting drafted at some point. But just in total, man, solid class. I'm with you. I'm also going to give this one an A. I don't love the Jackson Dart pick, but it kind of felt like it was going to happen, so I have to sort of accept it. And I think it could work out. He's going to be on a team with a lot of good players, with Scatabo, with Tracy, with Neighbors, and Abdul Carter on the defense. I think the defense got significantly better this offseason, so hard to hate the class, so I'm going to give it an A as well.
Heck yeah. And when looking at this trade, they traded back. I didn't think it was crazy capital, right? They came from the 34th pick and gave up a third rounder and then a 2026 third rounder that belonged to Houston. So 2/3 to get back in the first round. I'm all about it. If it was like another first, I'm kind of scratching my head. But good value to get the quarterback you want, because otherwise, Metro, I know you don't love Dart. It could have been Tyler Shock. So when you put it like that, I'd rather put my job on the line with Dart. But like you said, what grade did you give it one more time?
An A. I'll give it an A as well.
Let's go. Double A's from us. Awesome draft for the Giants. Let's go to the New York Jets. The Jets, first round took Armand Membu, the tackle. Second round, Mason Taylor, the tight end. Third round, Ozarie Thomas, the cornerback out of Florida State. Fourth round, Arian Smith, the wide receiver out of Georgia. Fourth round, again, Malachi Moore, the safety. Fifth round, Francisco Miagua. Try that. You can do it too, Metro. Linebacker out of Miami. And another Miami player, we got fifth round, Tyler Barron, the edge out of Miami. Metro, what are your thoughts on the Jets draft?
Very good class. I like everything they did in 1, 2, and 3. Arian Smith in round 4 was a little rich. He's a burner who can get open, but he can't catch anything. This dude has hands made of butter. If you watched any Georgia game this year, any important Georgia game, this dude dropped everything. And it was so frustrating because he was consistently open, and whether it was, who's a Carson Beck or the new guy who's now the quarterback, didn't matter who threw the football to him. This dude dropped everything. But if you're banking on him being potentially better at catching the football in the NFL, he could be an impact starter. Malachi Moore was a multiple-year starter for Alabama, impactful player, and then your two Miami guys. We'll see if they can carve a rollout for them. But solid draft. They didn't get a quarterback. Admittedly speaking, I don't think they got any serious weapon next to Garrett Wilson, although Mason Taylor will be a weapon. But in terms of receiving core, we'll see about Aaron Smith. But you get a long-term tackle solution with Armand Membu, long-term tight end solution with Mason Taylor, potential CB2 with Azaria Thomas, who I've been pretty vocal that I'm a big fan of. Big press man corner with long arms, can create plays with that. And then you got some high upside guys with Arian Smith and Malachi Moore. So solid class. I'll give this one not the flashiest class, so I'll give it a B+, but this was a Jets team that felt like they did not need a flashy class, so a B+ for me.
Read my mind, man. When you're setting the foundation, getting key pieces at tackle, Armand Membu, awesome stuff. Mason Taylor, just a really good player. They love him, clearly, taking him at 10th overall in the second round. And then Ozarie Thomas, I'm big on him too, Metro. Awesome press corner, and if you can get a good press corner in the NFL, we are cooking with gas. Arian Smith's a guy at the Senior Bowl. Watched him move in individual drills, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Arian Smith can absolutely fly. Had an awesome workout. It's just he's got to take the oven mitts off, and then he's good to go. Get in front of a jug machine like Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I think he can find his way. Could be a big-time value here in the fourth round. Yes, it's a risky pick, but, man, we got to take some risks if we want to win for the Jets. So I give this also a B+, right on the money. Both of us, me and Metro, both gave the Jets a B+. Anything else here before we move forward to Philadelphia, your favorite team?
Oh, let's go to Philadelphia because they have some good picks. Admittedly speaking, though, I don't love their class, but we'll get to it here in a second.
Kinda read my mind, buddy. First round, we got Jahad Campbell falling to them at 31. They trade up technically from 32 to 31 to get their guy, the linebacker out of Alabama. Second round, Andrew Makuba, the safety out of Texas. Fourth round, Ty Robinson, the D-tackle. Fifth round, Mac McWilliams, the cornerback. Fifth round, the linebacker, Samel Mon. You got this. I'm losing my mind, bro. Actually, you know what? I'm losing my brain, brother. You got the rest of these.
Smael Munden Jr., linebacker from Georgia. Drew Kendall, the Boston College center. Kyle McCord, Syracuse quarterback. Miles Hinton, offensive tackle from Michigan. Cameron Williams, boy, what a loser of the draft. Like, 6th round pick. This was a consensus 1st round pick for a while there. Texas offensive tackle. And then Antoine Powell Ryland, Virginia Tech edge rusher.
Thank you. I almost crashed out there, Metro. Thank you for bringing me back to life. I'll get the rest of them. I needed to bring myself back together. But yeah, off the rip, Metro, I think we have similar thoughts here, but I want to hear your thoughts. Jahad Campbell, fell all the way down the board. This shit keeps happening. I'm sick of it, Metro. How do these damn players on the defensive side of the ball keep slipping to the Eagles, and they just fall into their lap? It's not like they're trading up to go get these guys. They just show up at their front door, and then you get Andrew Makuba in the second. I like the pick a lot. And then after that, I think Cameron Williams is cool at 6 in the 6th round. I'm just not crazy about any of these players. That's just me. I thought that, like, if a guy falls to you, is that skillful? I don't know, but you took him, so good job. I gave this like a B-. I think this could have been a slam dunk home run A, but it just didn't fulfill it with the rest of the picks, in my opinion. What did you think, Metro?
Kind of in line with you. I think there's a few good value hits here. Jahad Campbell, round 1, was a slam dunk. I don't care about the shoulder injury. Let's just hope and pray that it gets okay. And if it is, you're going to get a potential Pro Bowl linebacker who, good in coverage, good downhill, can be a disruptor in, when it comes to blitzing. So just a lot of things you can do with him. Makuba is just going to be a long-term starting safety for this team. Like, he's just so reliable. Ty Robinson is a good mover, has shown flashes. Just think that with Jalen Carter already on the roster, I might have preferred a bit more of an edge rusher with that pick, but I don't hate the pick there. Mac McWilliams was a bit of an early pick for me. Smell Munden was a weird one because you already took Jahad Campbell, so you didn't really need a linebacker, but granted the value was there and I can understand it. Smell Munden is a good mover, good value there at pick 25 in round 5. Drew Kendall, Kyle McCord is interesting. This is a team that they have a type at quarterback, especially like their backup type quarterbacks. They love, like, how do I say this without saying it weird? This is a team that loves average white quarterbacks behind Jalen Hurts. Like, they had, who was the backup before? I mean, they had Kenny Pickett obviously last year. Prior to that, they had, Tanner McKee. Yeah. And then they get Kyle McCord, who's kind of like the epitome of a backup for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's funny because none of those guys really play like Jalen Hurts. It's just they just like the white, good-looking backup that can hold the clipboard for Jalen, and that's what Kyle McCord's going to do. No disrespect. And then Cameron Williams is a high upside tackle that, hey, look, I didn't think he was that bad. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, the end of the season was rough, but he was dealing with an ankle injury for a lot of it, and he is just a big dude. Now, yeah, he's a slow mover. He's not going to be doing a lot of pulling. His feet are a little slow, but, man, you put him behind Lane Johnson for 2-3 years, let him develop, this dude could end up being a full-time starter for them. So, in totality, I see 3, maybe 4 long-term starters. Jahad Campbell, Makuba will for sure be starters. Ty Robinson has a chance to start. We'll see about Munden, and we'll see about Williams, and, of course, Kendall and Hinton also have a chance as well, but just felt like for me, this wasn't the class that I was expecting. I kind of thought they were going to prioritize edge and offensive lineman a little bit earlier, but I think there's a couple hidden gems here that I feel okay about. So for me, I'll give this one a B. I was expecting to give it an A, though, after Jahad Campbell, but I'm going to give it a B for now.
Awesome. So we got a B from Metro and a B- from me. Let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's start at round 1. Derek Harmon goes round 1. Everyone thought it was Shedeur for a minute. It was not. They go Derek Harmon, the D tackle. 3rd round, Caleb Johnson, the running back. 4th round, Jack Sawyer, the edge rusher out of Ohio State. 5th round, Yaya Black, the D tackle out of Iowa. 6th round, Will Howard, the quarterback. 7th round, Carson Broner, the linebacker. And then 7th round again, Dante Kent, the cornerback out of Central Michigan. This class, Metro, give me your thoughts real quick before I start yapping.
I would have liked to have seen a Shedeur answer a bit earlier, but they passed on him, and clearly they weren't going to take him because they had so many opportunities to do so. I guess that Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback. Now, Will Howard in round 6 I think is awesome value. He's by QB3 in this year's class, so take that as you will. Derek Harmon, round 1, will be a nice developmental run stuffer. I guess not developmental, but somebody you can work alongside Hayward and see where he can go into. Caleb Johnson is like a perfect replacement for Najee Harris. Jack Sawyer, productive player for Ohio State, has a lot of good film, but I think he lacks certain traits you want to see. Yaya Black is more of a straight-up run defender, and then some special teams guys with Bruner and Kent. So an okay class. I feel like this was a class where they wanted to get a little bit more physical up front, but I don't feel like it was too much of like a difference-making class, just a really physical. This looks like a Steelers class. Like if you were to list off these players and say what team took this, it'd probably be like, yeah, this is a Pittsburgh class. They want to be mean, physical, and big, and that's kind of what they got. So plus you got 2 Ohio State players, Will Howard, Jack Sawyer. I'm sure that'd be cool for them. So This one will get, I don't know, B minus, C plus, something between that. So yeah.
Cool. I like it, dude. Good breakdown. For the Steelers, this was really on brand, like you said. Derek Harmon, strong presence. Caleb Johnson, I mean, maybe not the meanest running back, because that probably goes to Quinshawn Judkins, but you talk about a strong, built running back. That's got to be Caleb Johnson for sure. Jack Sawyer, I thought, is great value in the 4th. And then Will Howard in the 6th. Not what I expected, but, man, I'm glad he went there to this team. He could start by Thanksgiving for this team. Like, this is a real thing. He just went to the national championship. He can do it again, and he's got 2 awesome wide receivers in Pickens and DK Metcalf. Is he going to start? We don't know, but maybe eventually. I like this class a lot. I think Jack Sawyer and Derek Harmon really anchors that defense, and Caleb Johnson brings a whole new aspect to that offense. You kind of just plug in a Najee Harris, similar kind of player with Caleb Johnson, and keep the ball rolling. And then Will Howard has a lot of upside, especially all the way in the 6th round. I did give it a B+. I was a little bit richer here just because it was on brand, and I like the value they got throughout the draft.
Yeah, totally fair. Good class for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe wasn't as flashy as we thought it was going to be, but then you also have to take into account that their 2nd round pick went for DK Metcalf, so not too bad there. So yeah, solid class. Yeah, if you throw DK in there, which I guess you hypothetically could do, and maybe it looks a little bit better, but if we're just taking it at face value, what they got in the draft, solid class, not a complete game changer, but some necessary upgrades in some positions. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with. I think I'll go B minus. Yeah, I'll go B minus.
Awesome. Good stuff. We are at an hour 45. So we're going to try to keep this under 2 hours for you guys and wrap this up with these next 5 teams, but give you all the right time. Here we go. Seahawks, big draft. 1st round, Gray Zabel, the guard. 2nd round, Nick Eamon-Wari, the safety/joker. 2nd round, again, Elijah Arroyo, the tight end. 3rd round, Jalen Milroe alert, the quarterback out of Alabama. 5th round, Riley Mills, the D tackle out of Notre Dame. 5th round, Torrey Horton, the wide receiver. 5th round, again, Robbie Utz, the tight end. 6th round, again, they got so many of these picks. Bryce Cabaldu, the O tackle. 7th round, Damian Martinez, the running back. 7th round, again, Mason Richmond, the O tackle. And then 7th round, Ricky White, the 3rd, the wide receiver. Metro, this class, they got athletes, man. Gray Zabel can move. Nick Eamon-Wari is a freak athlete. Elijah Warrior is a beast, as we know. And then Jalen Milroe is maybe even the best athlete besides Nick Eamon-Wari on this roster now. Torrey Holton, sweet. Damian Martinez is sweet in the 7th. I even like Ricky White. This was a really good draft class in my eyes. Yes, a lot of upside plays and not a ton of floor. But, man, let's have some fun. I get it. This is your franchise. I went with an A- here. What did you think?
Yeah, this is either going to be an awesome class or a pretty meh class. Gray Zabel should be a good starter for them. Kind of fixes a lot of issues for them. Nick Eamon-Wari is going to be like Kyle Hamilton for them, where he can just be put all over the defense, the ultimate weapon. And I think it could work out. Admittedly speaking, I'm not the highest on Nick Eamon-Wari, but if there was a situation that I think he could succeed in, it would be with Seattle. Elijah Arroyo is like a 1-for-1 replacement for Noah Fant, who I'm sure is out the door soon. Milroe has like the highest upside of any quarterback in this class, so that's going to be interesting to see how that kind of works out between Milroe. They just traded Sam Howell, so he's out the door. But Milroe, and then, of course, Sam Darnold. And then Riley Mills has some nice potential. I think he tore his ACL, so we'll see if he can play. Torrey Horton is an underrated player. I was begging the Cowboys to take this guy, but they did not. I was pissed off about it. 6'3", 196, had an injury at some point, so it kind of hurt his last season. But, man, he was super productive for that team. Robbie is, I think, going to play fullback for them. And then Damian Martinez, man, look, top 10 running back on my big board. And for him to fall in round 7, admittedly speaking, I don't love the landing spot for them because you have a couple running backs already there. But, man, the value's there. I'm sure you can find a spot for him. So, really solid class. And like you mentioned, some really good athletes and high upside picks here. So, this is a good class. I'm going to give it a B+. What'd you give it again?
I gave it an A-. But, man, like you said,
yeah, B+.
This class can be a D+ to an A-. The range is huge. Just a ton of boom and bust.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. A lot of high-impact players, but then a lot of dudes who just don't know what you're getting from them. So, but I think I'm willing to bet on this draft class and say it's going to be a pretty good class, just with the way with the team they went to and with the coaching staff. I have faith.
Me too. This could be the new era of the Seahawks, and it would be fun if they all hit.
Yep.
Let's go. San Francisco 49ers are on our board. First round, they went Mykel Williams, the edge rusher. Second round, Alfred Collins, the D tackle. Third round, Nick Martin, the linebacker. Third round again, Upton Stout, the cornerback. Fourth round, C.J. West, the D tackle. Fourth round, Jordan Watkins, the wide receiver. Fifth round, Jordan James, the running back out of Oregon. Fifth round again, Marquez Sigel, the safety. Seventh round, Curtis Rourke, the quarterback out of Indiana. Seventh round, Connor Colby, the Iowa offensive guard. And then seventh round, Junior Bergen, the wide receiver out of Montana. Metro, this class was just not my cup of tea, just coming straight off the rip. Mykel Williams, I get the upside. I'd rather take the upside in Shamar Stewart. And that's kind of weird. I think Shamar's a better athlete. But if you take the Texas game away, but that's hard to do. He had a crazy game against Texas, and I respect that. I just don't see the upside I don't see the player I think most people is going to be. With that being said, Alfred Collins is really cool. After that, CJ West is solid. Nick Martin is fine. They weren't my guys. You have my guys in the draft, and they just didn't pick them. And with that, I'm going to stay true to my board. I did give them a D. Besides Alfred Collins, I don't see anybody being super sticky. But then again, this is the San Francisco 49ers. If anybody's going to be wrong, it's going to be my dumbass. With that being said, what did you think?
Yeah, very defensive-minded class. They tried to fill in as many holes as possible, as well as trying to get ahead of certain issues. The Mykel Williams pick is interesting. I think he has a nice floor, but also a pretty high ceiling, where I think he'll be a good run defender, have some juice in the pass rush. And opposite of Nick Bosa, I feel pretty good about it. So I didn't love the value at 11. Thought it was a little rich, but I didn't hate the pick. I knew he was going to go a little bit higher than what we thought he was going to go, but 11 still felt a little early for me. 11 for Alfred Collins in round 2 also felt a little early. Like, he's just not a difference maker, but he's going to be a solid run defender who might get you 1 or 2 sacks a year, so take that as you will. Nick Martin, I think, has a really high ceiling, a good athlete, but had an injury last year, so an injury to an athletic linebacker, I think that's just always kind of a red flag, but we'll see if he can pair up with Fred Warner. Upton Stout, good pick in round 3, like that one. C.J. West, good pick in round 4. Then there's a couple, like Jordan James is a good player. He can hypothetically be your replacement for Jordan Mason, but just a lot of day 3 was just kind of some good pieces, some developmental pieces, but nothing that I feel great about. I do like the safety from Kansas State, but it was an okay class. Definitely, I kind of agree with you where it's not my personal cup of tea, but I also can see a couple pieces here working out. And we talked about this throughout the video, where you really want to get like 3 to 4, if you can, players like who could start and actually have a role on your roster. And I see a couple of those here. So I'm not terribly high on it. I'll give it a C+, but it wasn't the craziest class, but I think maybe a necessary class just to kind of build back up some of your depth. So yeah, good class. Oh, well, okay class.
Totally. C+ from you, correct?
Yeah, C+.
C+ from you, and a D+ from me. Let's go to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was I didn't expect this class, man. This one was fun. First round, we got Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver. Second round, Benjamin Morrison, the cornerback out of Notre Dame. Third round, Jacob Parrish, the slot cornerback. Fourth round, David Walker, the edge. Fifth round, Elijah Roberts, the edge out of SMU. And seventh round, Tez Johnson, the wide receiver out of Oregon. This class has really good players. Like Emeka Egbuka, awesome player. Do you need him immediately? No, but I respect the pick. Benjamin Morrison. I love Benjamin Morrison. If the hips cleared, this will be such a steal of a pick. Similar to Mike Green, I like this a lot. And then third round, Jacob Parrish, really good slot corner. This dude is like an absolute gnat and a pest. 5'10", 191, and just super sticky. David Walker, Elijah Roberts, and Tez Johnson. I like all the picks. I like their draft a lot. I'm going to go with the B because it didn't answer all their needs. But at the end of the day, I like the value they got, and I love the players as well. What did you think?
Very fun class here. I did not like the Emeka Egbuka pick. It's funny. I hear two sides of this one, where I hear some people say, hey, good player, you get good player, you're going to have a good class. And I don't know. I'm kind of on the side of like, hey, you already have Evans, Godwin,
Yeah.
McMillan showed a lot of flashes in his rookie season. So I just feel like a receiver on round 1 was very rich for me. But if you just want to go with the mindset of get good players, Emeka Egbuka is going to be an awesome player. So can't hate it, but I don't love it. Benjamin Morrison, if the hip checks out, awesome pick. Could have went round 1, had no issue with it. Jacob Parrish, maybe going to play in the slot. Maybe that moves Tyke Smith a little bit, but in general, will be a good role player for them. David Walker has some legit juice off the edge, a little undersized, but man, he can really go. Elijah Roberts is a bigger guy, kind of fits a bit more of a edge in the 3-4, more something like an outside linebacker. And then Tej Johnson, man, he can fly, but he's like an ant, man. You push him, he's done. And you get your hands on him, he's done. But hey, the dude can fly. So I could see a world where he has almost like an Xavier Worthy like role, or just kind of like how the Denver Broncos utilize Troy Franklin. I can see Tej Johnson having a role. So I look at it and I say, okay, you have one starter with Emeka. If Benjamin Morrison is healthy, that's another starter. Parrish could start for this team. Walker and Roberts, I think, will be rotational players on the defensive line. So the Emeka Ibuka pick will push the grade down just because I just don't think they needed a receiver. But, man, hard to hate this class in totality. So I'm going to give it a A-.
Heck yeah. I love to hear it. Good job, Bucs. Let's go to the Tennessee Titans. The Titans get Cam Ward at 1 overall. Second round, they go Alafemi Aladejo at the edge out of UCLA. Third round, we got Kevin Winston Jr., the Penn State safety. Fourth round, DK, the wide receiver out of Florida. Fourth, we have Gunnar Helm, the tight end. Fourth round again, Alec Manor loading up on the weapons, wide receiver out of Stanford. Fifth round, Jackson Slater, the offensive guard. Sixth round again, or not fifth round, but sixth round again, Marcus Harris, the cornerback. And then sixth round, Kalen Mullings, the running back out of Michigan. This class, being fully transparent, Cam Ward is a badass quarterback, and I like how you support him with Alec Manor and DK. I like Kevin Winston Jr. It's just not my cup of tea. I gave it a D. I don't love the value. I don't love the players. I'm weird, though. It just didn't fit my big board. Maybe I'm looking at Winston in the wrong light. If Winston hits, then I'm completely wrong. And I think DK's kind of rich at 4 in the first pick of the fourth round. What did you think of Metro? That's just my thoughts. I think there's better ways to surround Cam Ward, but what did you think?
Yeah, very meh class for me. Cam Ward obviously went 1, cool. But then Olu Aladejo, man, developmental, like complete developmental. He can move. I think he was a linebacker and converted to edge, but just very raw. And for that to be your second pick in the draft, just felt like, man, I would have liked to have seen a more surefire hit. But, man, he does have a nice ceiling to be a good player. Kevin Winston Jr., I think, had an injury for Penn State, so if he can come back from that, we should be good there. Chimere Dike, frankly, I thought was crazy in round 4. He can move, though, so I think you're banking on that and see if he can, stretch the field vertically. Gunnar Helm, good value at tight end, so I don't hate that pick. Alec Manor will probably be more of your outside receiver with Calvin Ridley kind of doing some things inside and out. And then the rest of the draft, Khalil Mullings, had a really productive year for Michigan. So I think maybe he actually played linebacker and converted to running back. Don't quote me on that, but a big bruiser style guy. So in totality, I just think, okay, Cam Ward hit, Kevin Winston Jr. solid, Gunnar Helm solid, Alec Manor solid, Khalil Mullings, we'll see. But then Chimere Dike, Olu Aladejo, just a lot of developmental pieces that you're going to have to work into your team. I'll give this one, I'm a little bit higher on it than you are. I'll give it a C+. Just because, Cam Ward obviously he's going to be the hard carry of the class, and I think Kevin Winston's a good one, and Gunnar Helm. Actually, yeah. I'll go C+. Yeah, C+. No, B-. I'll be a bit B nice here. B-.
Let's go. B- for Metro and a D for me. I feel so harsh. I just feel like if I don't give bad grades, then what do my good ones mean? I'm trying to mix it up. I'll be the villain today. I'm always nice.
That's fine.
I'll be the villain, Metro.
Good. No, every good movie has a bad guy and a good guy, and I'll play Luke Skywalker. You play Darth Vader, and we'll just make it work.
It's more fun being the villain, anyways. So I gave it a D. You gave it a B-, right?
I'll go C+.
C+? All right.
I'm converting to the dark side here.
Luke Skywalker, C+, and from Darth Vader, we got a D for the Tennessee Titans. Our final team, the Washington Commanders. First round, Josh Connolly Jr., the O-tackle. Second round, Trey Amos, the cornerback. Fourth round, Jalen Lane, the wide receiver out of Virginia Tech. Sixth round, Kane Medrano, the UCLA linebacker. And then lastly, seventh round, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. There we go. The running back out of Arizona. I've said all those. I know, was that 271 picks? I feel good about it. Actually, no, you took some too. Thank you. But yes, this is their roster. This is who they took in the draft. This class, Amos in the second round. Hell yeah, brother. Connerly. I love the pick. Those two really stick out to me. And then Jalen Lane, I'm cool with it in the 4th round. I get it. Get your guy. He's not like tilted. He's not making a huge difference in my opinion, but it is the late 4th, so I understand. With those first 2 picks, I feel forced to give this at least a C+, maybe even a B-. I love those 2 players. I'm in that range. What did you think about this draft?
I think I'm a little bit lower than you. Trey Amos will be a good, impactful outside corner for them. I didn't love the Josh Connerly pick. I didn't really see the value. I mean, Connerly's a good player, but I don't really know where he starts for this team, especially when Cosmi comes back healthy, because you have Tunsil. I'm assuming Coleman steps in at left guard. I just don't see you benching Coleman after starting his rookie year. Biotish at center, Cosmi at guard, and then what happens with Andrew Wiley. So Connerly could be a long-term play, and it might be a good long-term investment, but I don't know. If I'm Washington, I want to try and win now. There were some good edge rushers on the board. They did not draft one, and your starting edge rushers are still Dietrich Wise, Dorrance Armstrong, and Cleveland Farrell, which is just not good. Trey Amos, good pick, though. Jalen Lane will be an interesting piece. I'm sure he'll probably start next to Debo and Terry McLaurin, so we'll see what role he can fill out there. I know a lot of people are high on him. I'm a little lower on him, but and then Kane Medrano, admittedly speaking, I did not watch too much of his film. I watched like a game or two, but saw some good plays here and there, but probably more of a developmental piece behind Bobby Wagner, I'm assuming. And then, of course, Ja'Cory Krosky and Merritt at running back. I liked him a lot when I watched his film, so 5'11", 204, probably more of like your 3rd or 4th running back, but maybe we'll see if he can develop into becoming something a bit bigger here. So for me, I thought their biggest need coming into the day was edge, running back, and maybe corner, and they didn't really address too much of those outside of corner. So for me, they didn't really address their biggest needs, and I think they were maybe a little bit too conservative with the Connerly pick and the Lane pick. So for me, I'm going to give this one a D+, just because I felt like there was a lot of value that they left on the board, and the Connerly pick for me left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. So I'll give it a D+, but you could convince me to go to a C- if you really wanted me to.
I'm not. That's your first D+ of the day. Stand strong, brother. I respect the take.
So this would be my worst class of the day?
This is your worst class of the day.
Oh, now I got to find something worse. I feel bad now. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I got to stand on business here. I guess that'd be my worst of the day.
Standing on business. Man, I get it. It's like, it's 2 players, then it's like, and if you don't like those 2 players, then you're not going to like the class. So I totally respect it. At the end of the day, we got a D+ from Metro and a C+ from me. Guys, do we want to go through every single team real quick, Metro, or do you just want to make timestamps, let them go find the pick? Or find
That's fine. I'll put timestamps.
Okay, I'll put timestamps too. Just like upload it, we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. We love NFL. We love college football. We love the NFL draft. So if you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe for more of it as well. Guys, also, we make content not just on this channel, but our own channels. Go check out Metro Sports for all NFL analysis content below in the description, and then my channel as well for all things NFL draft. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Y'all have the best day. We appreciate you more than you know. Have the best day. Love y'all. Metro, say peace out to the people.
Thank you guys for watching, and peace.